And that's the end of the show.
Thank you for joining us.
The best part.
Only dogs could hear it.
Didn't even get the
That's
dumpster fire going.
All right, so it's looking like we're live. All right, so CoCoTALK episode 97. It's going live in 3,
Hi,
2.
this is Dale Leader, designer of TRS-80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer. With your host, Mr. Can't Get Past Level 1 in any game, Stevie Stroh. Good evening, everybody. It's Saturday night. Do you know where your color computer is? Welcome to CoCoTALK episode 97. If this show gets any older, we'll be reaching somewhere near the age of, I don't know, maybe some of the members of the panel here. Well, welcome to the program. We're here. We're live. We're on the air. It's 8 o'clock p.m.-ish, give or take a few minutes. We're on CoCo time right now. My real-time clock was a little out of sync, unfortunately, so since I had the prototype, did not have the exact time here queued up. But we're live, we're on the internets, and we've got a cast of characters for us. We've got, on opposing corners, we've got the two Australians here. We got the northern pole and the southern pole, keeping the planet aligned just right. So in the top left, we've got Bryza, g'day. And in the bottom right, we've got Nick Marentes. G'day.
G'day, people.
All right, really good. Welcome to the program, and we've got the yin and yang of Radio Shack shirts here. With the white shirt, we've got Mark Bosley. With the black shirt, we've got Ron Delvaux. All right, we've got Brian Weasler with us in the house. Hello, Brian. All right, from Canada, we've got lovely Curtis Boyle. How's it going, eh? Hey, beauty. Legendary game designer Rick Adams with us.
Yeah. Say, out and about in a boat. Oofta.
Yes. We got the guy with the cool hat, James Diffendaffer's with us. Hello, James.
Hello.
We got the guy contributing to climate control, Mr. Dumpster Fire himself, Richard Lorbieski's with us. We have the internet's own Grant Leighty has made a special guest appearance. Hello, Grant.
Who's he?
One on the right.
It's not a who, it's a what.
Yes. And our guest of honor, the man is so important that we named the show after him. Nick Marotta's with us. Hello, Nick.
Thank you. You are too kind.
Everybody's... Yes, you are.
Love
you
y'all.
are too kind, Nick Marotta. Yes. Tim Franklin's in the live chat. Ken Reichert is in the live chat. Tom C's out there from Jersey. Chad's here, Nick's neighbor. Al Hartman was out there. Retro Innovations trolling in advance before we were even on the air. So it's official. We have arrived. We've been legitimized by Jim Brain, so that's a good thing. Yeah, Greg is here. We miss Greg. I don't know what Greg's been up to. Greg, what have you been up to?
I just been busy doing on the weekends. I've been doing some conferences for storm chasing, which is my other hobby I do, which was in Wichita, Kansas. So, and then no.
Did you catch them?
Just starting.
Yeah, I mean, you got a big storm right here, so you got it.
You should be chasing snow at this point. You'd be all over the place.
Dave.
Yeah, we have a shite storm
David
on
Ladd's
the air
got
right
a blizzard
now.
going on right now. So.
Wow.
Oh, I'm much
David
happier
Ladd.
breaking stuff.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, you could take our summer and we'll have your snow.
Yeah, right. Oh, Ron Delvaux was posting some pictures of snow in Arizona. What happened? You lost a cactus or something?
Large swirl cactus. probably about 8 foot tall or more. The ground got soft and the wind toppled it over and it broke it in half.
Oh, that is sad.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's probably a good 16 or 17 years old. Hadn't gotten any arms yet.
Wow.
And I looked up to see if maybe I could make some, swirl pancakes with it or something. They'll make you throw up, evidently. It's toxic.
Oh, wow.
That just means you have to really like it to have one.
Yeah, well.
No, tequila's made out of cactus.
That could make you throw up, too.
I don't know what the heck tequila's made.
I have no idea.
Is that true? Is it made out of cactus?
It's
I don't know. Somebody Google that. Ask Siri.
This cactus that fell probably weighs 600 pounds. I'm going to have to get somebody to carry it out of here. Plus, it has those barbs on it,
Yeah. Well, we know we've got one special announcement today. We've been warned in advance. And we also have a new segment that we'll tell you about in a minute. But our very own Brian Weasler, he teased us last week. He says, I'm probably going to have some type of thing to show off next week. So did your wish come true?
Yeah.
And do you have something
I've been wanting to get for a while? I know a few of us out there have them and everything, but I've been waiting for one to come in that was in a good shape. And this one here, if it's used, it's lightly used. It's like brand new. Still had all the original twist ties on all the cabling and everything. But and you've heard the expression, a brother from another mother. So I was able to acquire myself a Dragon.
Oh,
this is a 64, and
nice.
This thing is it's in excellent shape here. Oops.
Yeah. So is it the Tano Dragon or is it the UK Dragon? Okay, so this is probably one of the ones from California Digital. Where there was new stock that was being sold up to a couple of years ago. Yeah. Shape.
It's like brand new.
Yeah.
So very excited to get this here. So I haven't even turned it on yet. So, yes,
was that eBay?
Yep, it was out there on eBay. A guy had it out there for $200, and or he said make an offer. So I threw a price out there, and he replied back in like 5 minutes. So I quickly paid.
Wow.
Pay now. So
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
we're very excited about
good
this
for
one.
you.
I've been waiting to get one for a while. So it.
So how was the box when it came? Was it in good shape?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I think it's been stored around a little bit. You can kind of see a little bit of wear on the corners and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine was the same way. So.
Yeah.
But it came in another box, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah, they shipped it very well. I was very happy to see it. He had like a mile of bubble wrap around this whole thing. So
good.
So yep, it was shipped very well and came in really good shape. So yeah, I was really excited to add this to my collection.
The funny thing about those are
nice.
When you switch it on, you have to switch it on top of the power supply, which is a little weird.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Did you notice that?
No, like I said, I haven't even hooked it up yet. I've just been admiring it from afar. So, but it will get connected here one of these days here soon. So I'll post something out there. But yeah, I was really excited to get that, and I got some more. I got another little lot that I bid it on yesterday, and it's coming to a nice little box of about 10 or 12 different items, and I was really kind of surprised about that. I'll share that next week when it comes in.
All right.
Cool. Now, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that there is a composite out from that Dragon. And from what I understand, I think David Ladd's the one who told me this. If you get the one that's designed for the what is that? Is that like
the RF?
No, that's your RF out. That's the RF. The composite out's like a little mini DIN connector, and I believe it uses. If you get the one for the Sega Genesis, it's wired properly, that it will work properly. If you get the one for the Commodore, the pinout on the computer side is correct, but your RCA something has to be flip flopped in one of those to get
there. Is this on the back
thing?
Yeah,
that might be. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at mine yet.
Yeah. Cable or something like that, but it crossed grounds with a different something or other. I don't know.
Yeah, so I know if you use, I know the one for the The one for the Commodore will fit, but the pinout on the RCA side is different.
Okay.
Something has to be changed, right? But I think David Ladd had discovered if you got one that was made for the original first generation Sega Genesis composite out, that pinout and the wiring for the RCA outputs are perfect. So your audio and video will come from that.
Okay, I'll reach out to David.
Yeah, I feel about 90% that I'm telling you the right information. So
very good.
Yeah. You know, we started at 8 o'clock Eastern, right? And about
that
7
pinout
o'clock,
and the wiring.
Fletcher was here and left. So you missed it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Fletcher was here.
Fletcher.
Yeah, she had her reports with her.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
With the Dragon, I guess I've started to read a little bit about it though, but many of the games were compatible with it. Is that correct?
Yeah, the only thing that was different really was the keyboard mapping. So if you're playing a keyboard-based game, then some of the keys will be totally different.
Yeah.
But even the ROM cartridges were going.
Unless they programmed it to handle both, then yes.
As long as the ROM, well, as long as the program calls documented ROM calls, it'll work. Guess how many do that?
You have an SDC, don't you?
Yes.
Well, an SDC will work with the machine, and you can download a whole bunch of VDKs, I think they're called. And also, there's a lot of WAV files that you can load in with it. Tons of them, because basically, I think most people used a cassette with this particular machine. A lot of people didn't have money, or they didn't have floppies. Yeah,
floppies weren't as popular in the UK. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that I've got from the queued up from the news that went by Facebook this week was somebody got the Moo, and I'll show that off. I'm vaguely familiar with what it is, but it's kind of like maybe Jim Brain's CoCo Mem, but for the Dragon and CoCo 1 and 2, it adds 512K of RAM, an MMU. I think it adds the ability to also mount SD cards and has a boot ROM and things like that. So somebody got one of those. So I figured I'd show that off. Yeah, if you use a CoCo SDC on a Dragon, you got to change a couple of the dip switches to put it in Dragon mode. I think you may or may not have to load a Dragon DOS ROM into one of the banks too. Did somebody have to go through this recently?
Yes.
Was that you, Ron?
Yeah. Up successfully.
Yeah, I've got mine still in the box too, which I've never opened. It's on my list to do, is to look at my Tano Dragon. But also realize that the disk format is different. So you can't load a CoCo disk on a Dragon DOS and vice versa, because the formats are different. So you need to find virtual disk files that are Dragon format. I don't. Yeah.
Might just have to get another one just for this one and keep the other one for the CoCo.
Yeah, exactly. I was
well, with your machine, you did get a cable for hooking up to a cassette player, and you'll be able to use that right with your phone or your PC to load programs in if you want.
Yep.
Sure enough.
Very, very cool. Bruce Moore has just joined us. Ken Reichard's out there. Neat. Well, we're going to tease this because we have a new segment. This was kind of Ron Delvaux's his brainchild of Ron Delvaux, like many of the great things that have come to this show. We have Ron to thank for. Now, we're not exactly sure what we're going to call the segment. I think we're going to call the segment C Load M. And here's what the live chat can't hear me right now. Let me add the microphone. Okay, now the live people can hear me too. You're going to see a screen like this, and it says, stand by, audio download. Please do not make a sound. Mute your microphone. So what's going to happen at some point in time in the show, we're going to play a cassette file that's been recorded. And if you're able to do it live, then you're a better man than I. But the idea is that this is a CoCo program, and whoever is able to take that audio and somehow get it to load into a CoCo, be it real or virtual, and then hit exec, and then you tell us what it is. If you just notify the show, CoCoTALK at CoCoTALK.live, there'll be a prize, right? So that's going to be the thing. It's just a little segment. It's a thing we're going to try, but we're going to actually play a cassette file over the air that you can either try to listen to live or you can do it later on in the podcast or whatever. And play the audio of this. Hit C-Load M, load it into a CoCo, real or virtual, hit exec, tell us what it is, win a prize. Is that the gist of it there, Ron Delvaux? That's about it. So we'll see how this goes, right? This is riveting radio, right? Can you just imagine somebody's like in their car and it's like the emergency broadcast station on steroids? Like,
I can just imagine somebody tuning into the live stream a little late, and that's where they start.
I got a question about the prize. Is Paul Fiscarelli eligible?
No, and neither is Jason the douchebag CoCo Man either. So he's not.
And neither am I.
Hey, this is CoCoTALK on
Have you won a prize? Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
This is a lot like the.
So,
this is a lot like one of the endings on Bandersnatch, eh? If you that guy, they play a cassette tape, and if you plug it into a Spectrum emulator, you get a game.
Cool.
Oh, Bruce Moore says, hold my beer. Bruce Moore says, I can tell by listening. I don't even have to run it. So Bruce is going to be able to listen to the data and tell us what it is. He's going to be like this. Yeah, the Matrix is going to hold my beer. All right. So, all right. I think most of us have already told us in advance they didn't have anything new to update this week, but we didn't find out from Nick Marentes. I know Nick's posted a few more blogs recently. Nick, anything else you want to update us with?
I've been working on it. I'm not ready for my next blog yet, but I can show some of the alien sprites later on if you want.
Ooh, yes, yeah. We'll take a dump. And
do you have any aliens yet?
That'd be great.
Sorry.
Do you have any aliens yet?
That's what you just said.
Yeah, I've got 3 aliens. They're not flying. They're there, so you can see. I had to design them, so I'll show that.
All right, excellent. All right, well, we're gonna get into some news after the break, so we're gonna go ahead and take a break. And I need to see what commercial I want to run here. We've got all kinds of commercials to run here. You know what I want to see? We did CoCo last week. How about we're going to do this? Since Ron Delvaux was visited by Fletcher earlier, let's go ahead and run a Fletcher commercial real quick, and then we'll be back.
Hello, this is Great Leighty with CoCoTALK. Got your CoCo 3 yet?
From the makers of the Switcheroo. Wallaby cable, Color Computer 3 dual RGB cable. Get yours today at cocoman.biz.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight.
But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
Thank you, Speech Sound Pack. And we've just been joined by somebody, Jim Seamus B. ... I'm not sure who that is, but hello. He's gone. There he is. Hey, Jim, can you hear us? We see you. Looks like you are muted. Your software is muted. JT, Ken says JT is a putz. All right, so we're back. We're going to get into yeah. Jim, can you hear us?
He's working on it.
All right. we might hear back from Jeff. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into a little news. And we've decided that we want to do the news sooner rather than later, because usually by the time we get towards the end of the show, I'm just too tired and lazy to do the news. So we're going to try to get the news out of the way sooner. And it would not be news without a little sound intro clip from lovely Curtis Boyle. So here we go, some news. Yeah, rock out, baby. Now, this one was actually posted in Discord. For those of you who aren't Discord, you should be. But Boise Pete found this, our very own Boise Pete. And he found an article that, I don't know what magazine this was in, but this was an article that was sent in, or somebody was commenting on a feedback that Marty Goodman sent to one of the CoCo magazines back from 1986. So it says the good news is, so the magazine must be called The Computer Bug. It says the Computer Bug got an electronic letter. One of their first electronic letters from a reader about Delphi, the electronic information service. The bad news is the reader, Marty Goodman, is unhappy. Goodman, the database manager of Color Computer Special Interest Group, or the CoCo SIG on Delphi, writes that he's dismayed that a recent column on Tandy machines utterly failed to mention the introduction of the Color Computer 3, a 128K upgradable to 512K computer. So it said Tandy tacked the Color Computer announcement on the tail end of a string of promotions ballyhooing its new group of IBM clones. So he said Tandy said the machine would offer 128K, $219. Memory could be upgraded, as Goodman reported, and options can include disk drives and high-resolution color monitors. So this was Marty Goodman giving somebody the what for by not mentioning the CoCo in one of their Tandy announcements. So this, I just got to learn about Marty recently, but does this sound like classic Marty Goodman here?
Yeah. This was in response. The CompuBug actually was the nickname that the writer used. This was a newspaper column. And basically, this was right after the July, I think it was July 31st or 30th, whatever it was, for the announcement of, in 1986, of the CoCo 3, along with a bunch of the Tandy PC clones. And he was kind of, giving him heck because he didn't mention the CoCo whatsoever. He mentioned all the other machines that were announced that day, but not the CoCo 3 upgrade.
Okay. So, but the guy kind of concludes by saying, yeah, the CoCo is great if you're into the hobby of learning how to use a home computer, but if you're serious about wanting to use a computer, you kind of get on that MS-DOS IBM clone train. Was kind of how he concluded that. But I think that was kind of interesting that we got to see a little snippet of Marty giving the establishment what for, huh? So
resist.
Good for you, Marty.
Never was one to hold his opinion back, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. And I think that's kind of funny when you look at, it was like 1986, was it? And they're like, we got our first electronic letter ever, from Delphi. Friend of the show. Yeah, friend of the show and CoCo nut and long-standing member of the community, in good standing, Tim Lindner, who's out there on the West Coast. He's at the Southern California Retro Gaming Expo, so he just showed us a couple of pictures on Facebook. So he's got a little CoCo setup here. Look at this. He's got a silver CoCo. He's got a CoCo 3, possibly a CoCo 2. Who knows what else he's got there. Wasn't it recently he went to one of these things where he was selling off a lot of Mark Goodman's inventory?
Tim almost all of his
Might
old
have been last
CoCo
year.
stuff, and he had a whole storage unit full of it from when I was down there.
Yeah. So here's a picture of Tim's little setup, and this is what he had also brought to Tandy Assembly last year, right? The Dino Wars graphic, which looks, this is like huge, right? I think Grant Leighty's profile picture is all the guys standing in front of this for a group photo, right? Roar. Right? So Tim's out there right now at the SoCal Gaming Expo. Cool stuff.
Some other members of the CoCo community are down there too, aren't they?
Well, Mikey might be there. He likes it. Right? Mikey's in California. I'm not sure who else might be out there.
California. It's a little few miles out of the way.
Well, John Linville posted this, host of the CoCo Crew podcast. This was a product released by Wayne Technology. I guess it was a CPM add-on that included a Z80 processor running at 4 megahertz, CPM 2.2. No modifications, simply plug in the cartridge port. Maintains full compatibility, requires 64K of memory and 1 or more discs with controller. So for $250, you got a Z80 and CPM that you could slap in the side of your CoCo. So has anybody seen this?
I've seen fuller ads of it. There actually was a picture of it running. I think it actually had an 80 column card built into it too, if I remember correctly. But there was ads of Rainbow and Hot Cocoa and stuff. I don't remember if I ever saw it.
Yeah, they had a full picture.
Yeah, of it actually running with CPM on an 80 by 24 black and white screen.
Okay. Rob Inman just chimed in. He says that he's going to be there tomorrow.
Now, CPM was like MS-DOS, correct? Or somewhat like
predecessor of.
Yeah, I think it was kind of the predecessor to it. Yeah.
Yep, that dates back to.
It's what DOS could have been. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I've heard you guys talk about CPM on the CoCo, and this looks like this.
And if I remember correctly, I think there was 2 of them. I think there was a rival company that announced one too. I don't know if that one came out. Didn't advertise it.
Oh, I noticed something missing from this though. No mention of a real-time clock.
That's why I never sold. I don't know.
So that's why I didn't sell.
Hang on, kill him.
How dare you make an add-on for the CoCo without including a real-time clock? So
or a sound card.
There you go. CPM. Okay. No sound chip, no blinky lights. So if anybody's got that, I'm sure John Linville would love to hear from you.
Serious work only.
Yes. So Ron Delvaux posted this recently. We've had Dennis on the program once or twice, right? So here's is this one of Dennis's ads from Green Mountain Micro? What color quaver software and music?
Yeah, that was his 4-voice player, one of the better ones.
That looks pretty cool.
It was a rival of Musica and Lyra.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the younger Dennis.
Either that or it's one of the fabulous furry freak brothers. I'm not quite.
Yeah,
did he draw that himself, or did he have someone do it?
Yeah, it was the first selfie.
We've just witnessed the first electronic letter written to a news thing and the first selfie. So that's cool. So yeah, Dennis was on a week or so ago.
Well, Dennis also replied to that picture.
Oh, did he?
He gave.
I missed it. I just closed it.
A link to the actual software, I guess.
Test.
Well, speaking of dragons, because Brian just got his dragon. So this is a product for the dragon and for the CoCo. I guess it's in some ways is similar to what Jim Brain is going to be doing with the CoCo Mem with 512K. Or no, actually, no, I take that back. CoCo Mem is
CoCo Mem
megs,
Junior is what you're thinking of. That's his 5.
But this is, maybe CoCo Mem Junior, right? So, but this is a similar product that is adding more RAM for a CoCo 1, 2, and Dragon. So this is bringing the CoCo 1, 2, and Dragon up to CoCo 3 memory specs, right? You got 512K of RAM.
Yeah.
An MMU. It's got an SD slot on it. I'm not exactly sure how you utilize that SD slot, and it's got a boot ROM.
Now, one difference here, and Jim can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the one big difference between the Mu and his board is that his is an internal upgrade that you put into the CoCo or Dragon itself, and this is actually a cartridge slot. You don't take your Dragon apart, or you just plug it in on the cartridge port.
Right. And so there was a link to the website, which I went ahead and pulled up, which maybe it sheds a little bit more light on the Mu.
So is it like an SDC with memory?
But it says here, yeah, I guess so. I mean, because it supports an SD card, but I'm not sure to what capacity. I don't know if you mount the images and how you do that. But it says it gives your CoCo 1, 2, or Dragon a whopping 512K of RAM. It's an expansion board, adding 512K of RAM, 64K of ROM. It also, what is SPI? What is an SPI interface?
It's a serial interface that's commonly used for
the Arduino.
Yeah, Arduino type of stuff. It's really
so you could plug it into
you could
like
put a real-time clock on it.
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh. There you go. Now this has potential
Now
value.
how many would you buy?
But so it has an SPI interface with 4 slaves, one connected to the micro SD slot. It has a ROM socket for an EEPROM. So it's designed to allow the Dragon and CoCo 1 and 2 to run multitasking operating systems such as Nitrous 9 Level 2 and PhysX, offering virtual address spaces for each process as well as mass storage on SD cards. Other SPI devices can be connected. The ROM acts like a standard cartridge ROM. So yeah, it seems like it's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, what this is going to differ from the CoCo SDC is the CoCo SDC does an emulation of the floppy drive. And what I see there in information in the past, this doesn't do that. But it basically gives you that ST type hard drive that you can use with OS 9 or you can use with PhysX.
So the SD card would not be for like disk extended color basic disk images.
It doesn't sound like that. I mean, it might, but I went to the site looking to see what it would do. Basically, bringing this up, it kind of looks like it's more oriented to running a image for that boot. Brett or somebody may be able to tell us a lot more, but I didn't see information where it looks like it's going to emulate your floppies or anything like that. It might read it. Okay, it might be able to read those files fine. Okay, the CoCo SD strength it looks like exactly like a floppy drive to the CoCo. Therefore, protected software, if you got the right stuff on it, runs and so on.
Yep. And it looks like this one is actually loading directly a micro SD, so you don't have to use that adapter to make it bigger. You stick the smaller SD card in there, and then you can use so you guess you could, if you with your own boot ROM, you could make it do whatever you wanted to. So if you wanted to implement the SDC DOS on a boot ROM, you technically might be able to do that. Who knows? But it's neat. So for somebody who wants to run PhysX or OS 9 Level 2 on a CoCo 1 or 2 with more RAM, this might be a good companion to the CoCo VGA too, right? So you get like your 64 column mode, you get your 512K RAM. So for doing non-gimme based stuff, you could do some halfway decent Nitrous 9 stuff on here. Now, what I don't see on here is the price. So I don't know the price. And PhysX, I understand, has recently been patched with the 64-column driver for CoCo's VGA too. I think you guys mentioned that last week.
Yeah, there's a link somewhere on that page to ordering information if you go back to that page. Okay. And if you follow the ordering information, it gives you the pricing.
Plus, does it even say what Moose stands for?
You remember the thing that you spun the arrow around and you pulled the string? Cal says.
Didn't say.
So
didn't say. I think it was
looks like Moo is $60 US.
So $60 US. Okay. And now it doesn't include a real-time clock, but you could potentially hook one up. So. There we go. Cool stuff. All right, so we had Paul Thayer on, I don't remember how long ago it was, where he gave us the first peek at one of his new doohickeys, where he's coming up with a new graphical mode where you can see a completely different resolution. Why am I not seeing the video? Oh, you know what? He mentioned that there's a lot of black space at the beginning of this thing here. So this is a new graphical mode that he's come up with that's kind of like we're calling it semi-graphics on steroids, because it's a 16-color low res with hardware-based scrolling. Looks pretty good. He's working on kind of like a Street Fighter clone. He's calling Faceless Warriors. And right now, I guess, here we go, Faceless Warriors. And that's a cool looking title screen there, right? And there's like your Ken versus Ryu looking guys, and they look pretty good. I asked
him if that Japanese lettering means something other than what it is supposed to be. He said he wasn't sure.
Yeah, right?
Does anybody really know?
You could be swearing at us right now,
it's like, and some people probably some people have gone as far as getting stuff like that tattooed on them and don't know what it means. You know what I mean? I'm a tool, it says. So it looked really cool, but it says I'm a tool. So you can choose your character, you can choose your background. Oh, and that's it. And that's it. So that's kind of cool. So that's kind of like the title loading screen, where you could choose what fighter you want to be. And that's kind of like, if you remember, if anybody ever played like Street Fighter, you could choose your character, and then you could choose, I don't know if you got to choose the country. I think if you were in one player, depending on who you were, it switched to the country of who you were fighting. So like when you went to fight Chun-Li, or in China with the bicycles in the background and stuff like that. So this one, you could choose your backgrounds and you could choose your fighters. So that's kind of cool. And the mode that he showed us, where it was scrolling from left to right, was very cool, and it was all being done in basic even. So the smooth scrolling in the high color mode was pretty cool. And another thing, I don't know if anybody has any of these projects, but the kind of hardware emulation based CoCos, there's at least 3 of them on the market now, right? There's the original
CoCo
one
FPGA.
was Gary Becker's CoCo 3 FPGA, which is still a project that's continues to be worked on. Then Roger Taylor came up with what was started off as being CoCo on a chip, later renamed to the Matchbox CoCo, which was based on a DEC Nano. I don't know what these things are called. DE0 Nano or something. I don't remember the names of all these chips, right? And then there's a third project now, also by Roger Taylor, which is based on the Mister, and the Mister is the new version of the Mist. Right, the Mist was something that was developed to emulate Atari ST and Amiga systems, and Mister is like the new version of that. That's because I guess the older ones are not as well supported with the parts.
Yeah, it actually has like a dozen systems or something now.
Right, so Mister is kind of like a generic emulation box where you can load in your cores, right? And whatever core you load into it, it boots into that system. So it could boot up as an Amiga or an ST or a number of other systems. And so Roger Taylor has made a CoCo 3 core for the Mister, where if you boot up to that core, you're basically running a CoCo 3 on this little box, and it has HDMI output. I think he mentions here it will, let's watch the video. I think he says it's something about a PlayStation joystick that you can plug into it. And so here's a 9-minute video. I'm not sure. Here we go. This is the Mister.
See, it's got a real-time clock.
Okay, so this is like choosing a core. It's got a real-time clock.
Whoa.
Look at that. Now how much would you pay, right? So look at that. Look how quickly that just booted up. That booted directly to Disk Extended Color Basic 2.1. I guess this is here where you could, you can change your RAM. How much RAM you want to have. 1 megabyte, 512. Mounting hard drives. And I believe this is all HDMI out. So VDG artifacts, red and blue, aspect ratio. Wow. Got all kinds of crap going. Scaler.
Yeah, it's very
customizable. Filters. Scan lines. Yeah. Now, are these customizations built into the Mister hardware, or is this stuff that Roger himself has made?
Roger's additions. Those are related to the CoCo core.
Marty's Nightmare. So here's Donkey Kong Remix. So this is always a good test. If it can run a Sockmaster program, then it's probably emulating the hardware pretty good, right? Because Sockmaster will beat up on the hardware. So we're going to load in Donkey Kong Remix.bin. Do you guys know what this thing costs if you want to buy yourself a generic Mister box?
You actually have to order a couple different parts. It's based on a core board, and then I don't know. It depends on the machine you want to run.
It's modular, isn't it, James? So that you can.
We're talking about. Is it about the maybe $200 price range? Or maybe
you were both talking about, and I couldn't.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
So
I was just going to say, I think if it's kind of a modular system, isn't it? You buy the core board, and then you can buy the joystick adapter board, and
right, yeah.
Depending how much you want, how much it costs.
I think the core board is like $150 or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at it, but you could be into the whole thing for a couple $100 to $350, somewhere in there, depending on what add-ons.
Okay. Oh, he's mapping. He's got a little Bluetooth Super Nintendo controller there, so he's mapping the buttons of that.
Were you letting that roll, or did it take that long to load?
It took that long to load. I guess that's how long Donkey Kong takes to run on a real CoCo. I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, look at that. So this is Donkey Kong Remix running on the Mister. So this is hardware-based emulation.
Running at 4 megahertz too,
right?
from what I remember. So it'll run twice as fast as a CoCo 3 if you wanted to.
Pretty smooth.
Wow. Yeah, and here he looks like he's going to end up playing the whole game. Okay, so we don't have to watch him play all
he
Donkey
goes
Kong
to level
Remix.
3.
But oh, he got past level 1, right? Okay.
Double does an instructional video for Stevie.
I mean, that's
so.
Yeah, but that's a good sign, right? If you can run a Sockmaster demo or Sockmaster program on your emulator, you're doing good.
For what it's worth, I believe Gary Becker's ran it up to 25 megahertz, and I think this could potentially run that fast if he spent a little time on it.
Yeah, that's cool. So, for those of you looking for a CoCo alternative and you can't get the real hardware, this hardware emulation,
and it definitely handles a lot of the more modern protocols. Like we've got VGA adapters and stuff now, but VGA is starting to die out. This jumps straight to HDMI, which is current.
Yeah. HDMI, USB joysticks, Bluetooth.
You're able to use a lot of modern equipment
now,
so it probably makes it cheaper to get some of these, joysticks and screens and stuff too. So
promising.
Yeah. So that looks cool. It's like I think these things are interesting, and I'm glad these projects are out there. I'm just not sure I would put the money in it. Although something like the Mister, because you can make that piece of hardware become multiple systems, that might give it some value.
And you share your joysticks.
Like I don't know if I would want to do just a CoCo 3. Yeah. So this is kind of like
it's a hardware MAME cabinet almost in some ways.
Yeah, it's a hardware version of like the RetroPie. Right, so the RetroPie is running all software-based emulation. This is hardware-based emulation on a lot of different systems. So, interesting stuff. I'm kind of getting close to the end of the news stuff that I had, and I think a few people have put a few more articles. One of the ones that I know John Linville's posted a whole bunch of stuff where he's showing off that he's going to be selling development kits for people who want to make Game Master cartridges, and he's showing off some of the cartridges he's putting together. He also recently released a Google Doc on how to program the Game Master cartridge, so you can find this on Facebook. I think it's shared in no less than a half a dozen different groups, so you can find it out there. But it gets into some of the features and how to emulate it in MAME and in XROAR, and of course now Chet Simpson's recently added it to VCC, how you can do bank switching and some information on the sound chips. So if you're looking for something a little bit more technical on how to interface with the GMC, there's a document out there. It's a Google Doc, and John Linville has got this posted in a number of the retro groups that I follow, including the CoCo Facebook group and the CoCo Crew Facebook group and a few other places. So that shouldn't be too hard to find, but you know what I'm going to do? At no extra cost, I'm going to copy and paste this link. Now how much would you pay? I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that link in there. So now the Google Doc is there for you guys to enjoy as well. And he also posted a
link. He's a picture. He's doing some kits. So for people.
Yeah. Some kits if you want to build a GMC. Yep. So that was the stuff that I kind of found. Did anybody else remember anything or think of anything that's going on this week?
Pear released pack number 20 of the games for the. Ported to the Dragon and the
Arcade Game Designer.
Yeah, and it includes a clone of Popeye. Which is an interesting one.
I don't have that downloaded.
I showed that,
off.
or I talked to Pear on Messenger and asked him where some of the missing files were, and he gave me links. So I got a fairly good collection of them now. But I asked him if he'd come on CoCoTALK, and I guess he's not very good at English.
Yeah, he's mentioned that in the past. There is a bit of a language or accent barrier, so he
So I says if you get a chance and you want to make something on a video or something, do it that way where you can get all the good English in there, or whatever. And he said he'd let us know,
or bad English for that matter. Yeah. Yeah. We got a few people in the live chat. Sean Russell saying greetings. Now we have a new person joining us, Jim Briers. Is it Jim?
Yeah,
Seamus Briers? Are you with us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us? We can hear you. How are you? Welcome to the program. Good. I don't know you from a hole in the wall, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, just recently getting my CoCos in order. Haven't touched computers.
Okay.
And,
so are you new to the
I'm
Facebook
on the Facebook group, and I actually live about a mile from where the CoCo Fest is going to be.
Oh, excellent. Then you have a moral obligation to be there this year.
Yeah, I plan on bringing a bunch of discs I found recently that I've been having a lot of I/O errors with. So someone suggested to bring all the discs over there, and maybe someone with a working drive could see if there's anything.
Yep, yeah, I believe we've had people do that. Was it? Did Henry Reitveld help you with some of that stuff, Rick Adams? Yeah.
Yes,
so
he
Rick's,
did.
I hear some rattling there.
Read all my old discs. One of them took 2 tries. So I tried at Tandy Assembly, and we thought we'd read the disc, and then I got it home, and it's like, oh, that doesn't look so good. So then I saw him at the last CoCo Fest, and he was able to read it that time. So yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. A lot of the discs I got were from a Motorola CoCo club back in the early '90s kind of thing, and they were a hardcore group, and we got all of our programs on cassette back then.
Yeah, neat. So do you want to do a small version of "This Is Your Life"? You can tell us a little bit about what you did back in the day, when retro was new, and maybe tell us a little bit what you're doing now.
It was just a mere hobby. Somehow my neighbor got involved, and he got a CoCo, and then I got a CoCo, and before you know it, we kept on just accumulating all the programs we got from his dad that actually worked at Motorola that was involved in the CoCo club. And there's a lot of cool programs out there.
So what CoCos did you own?
I don't know. I think there was some satellite controlling programs they had on there, and which we would never use. We were just looking to play games and stuff. But mostly a lot of bin programs and basic programs. My favorite one is the I got the 64K Larry Bird and Kareem Jabbar basketball game, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I think I remember you posting that on Facebook. I've had very little time to peruse it this week. Okay, yeah, that was a one-on-one, right? Yeah. That's a cool game.
That was pretty good for the time,
Oh yeah. Well, so you've been out of it for a while. You're just now getting back in.
I've been playing music for the last 25, 30 years, and I was just kind of going through some old electronics I had, and my kids are actually playing Vectrex and Sega now. I don't have a new game console because I'm trying to hold off on that as long as possible. And they're loving the old games. The Sega, that's an 8-bit, so they're fine with the graphics on that, which I'm totally happy with because the new console, that's like $300-400.
Yeah.
Did you say that you kept all your stuff from way back?
Most of it, there's some got lost over the years, but I've got a CoCo 1, a CoCo 2. I think I got 3 disk drives, an old printer. I might have some cassettes left. I don't even know if I'll even try them, but.
Steve, what was the name of the guy from Motorola that had the laser demo? He was part of the Motorola group in.
That was Steve Noskowitz.
No. Like I said, it was my friend's dad that was in the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you got a lot to catch up on, but there's so much new hardware, so much new software. A lot of the people making the new hardware and software are on this show every week, and then there's the CoCo Crew podcast that you can listen to every month. And so, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. And if you've got questions, feel free to ask. You're
excellent. Yeah, I was just kind of lurking, picking up whatever I can.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Coming to CoCo Fest is the best thing you'll ever be able to do. If you need, being able to help you read floppies, that would be great. I'm sure there'll be a number of people there that can help you. You mentioned you've been playing music. We got musical jams at CoCo Fest, so maybe you can join us in them. What do you play?
I also have a.
Okay.
I also play a MIDI wind controller. Here, wait, let me.
Wow.
We don't have any of that, so yeah. Come on down.
No, we don't have any wind instruments.
Rupert?
There's plenty of...
That's a Yamaha WX5.
So it's basically a kind of like a keytar for wind instruments.
Just like my
that is cool. I've never seen that before. Do you still have to blow into it, or do you?
You can map any controller you want, but generally the breath is the volume. It also has a lip pressure sensitive for pitch bends.
Okay. So there's a little bit of analog input to it in that sense, right?
I've got various soft synths, of course, and the one sound module that's kind of made for it, which is the Yamaha VL70, which is a physical modeling synth.
Hey, if you go to CoCo Fest, you can be in the band.
I've been playing for years. So I'm still playing, actually.
There's plenty of hot air at CoCo Fest, but this will be the first time a wind instrument's been there.
And we had an instrument that gets blown into, I think, since James Jones used to bring his flute back in the 90s.
Oh, wow. And speaking of music, Brian Schubring, the music man, has just joined us. He's a staple at CoCo Fest. He's got a full MIDI setup and the speakers, and our musical jam we do at night is through Brian's setup, his whole amps and PA system and stuff. So, hey, Brian, welcome.
I am here.
So cool. Yeah, it'd be great to have you join us at CoCo Fest, and glad you could join us tonight. It's awesome.
My newest,
awesome. So we've had a few people
my newest
join
addition,
us.
which I'm so stoked about, is wireless MIDI. Yes.
Wireless
so I don't
MIDI.
have to have, a cord attached to it, of course.
Yeah. Man, what do they think of next? John Strong has joined us recently. Welcome, John. Brian, the Music Man Shoebring's joined us. Damon Bales has just joined us recently, too. Jason, the CoCo Man Reichert, has joined us. The Hollywood Squares is filling in. Good evening to you, one and all. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So is this where we play Send in the Clowns?
John Strong's holding something up. Are you raising your hand to ask a question, John? Are you going to show us off? Is this the Mega Mini MPI 3D printed case? You're muted, John.
When that happens.
But I clicked the button. Okay, to unmute.
Yeah.
So this is just, I've been playing with a different top to the case. So.
Okay. Is this like a taller one for deeper cartridges for stabilization?
I don't know if I'm going to do that. I actually sold the original design to Zipster because he wanted to produce them after I did my original batch.
Yeah.
But does the height of the new case match evenly with the CoCo?
Actually, very, very close. It may be off a 0.5 millimeter. Yeah, it's real close.
0.5 millimeter. Now, did you have room to put a real-time clock in?
You need some cough drops in there, too.
A roll of duct tape maybe to shut us up on that?
Solder, some joystick connectors.
How about a beverage holder?
Where do we plug in the coffee maker?
Microwave.
Soldering stand.
Yeah, right.
How many hours did that take?
That looks pretty good, John.
Just a couple hours design work and about 12 hours printing work for first prototype.
The next question is, are you going to have door flaps?
No.
I know, it sounds like a lot of work.
Well, it's the spacing is a lot closer than the original MPI. And, I don't think there's really enough room to do the door flaps.
Yeah, plus you had to put springs and everything else in there too. Then too. So.
Right, you got to have the springs. You have to have all that. I thought about printing maybe a cap to put over if somebody wanted it. Just put a cap in the slot. But that's probably even overkill. But this is kind of a personal project. I don't know if I'm going to sell it or not. I haven't decided.
Is that hole on the back for the power?
The power's here.
Oh, okay. What's the hole in the back?
Here, I just haven't had a top on that yet.
No, not there. On the back. There's a hole.
The other back.
The other back. Come on. There's a single hole. What's that for?
Here on the side?
Yeah. Okay, side.
Yeah, that's to attach it. I don't have screws in it because the hole's not lined up right on the prototype. Okay. So that's what that is for.
It's like a recessed hole for the screw to go in?
Yeah. Okay. Because there's only space with the board to be able to put 2 screws from the bottom. And want to provide some additional connection on the top. And that's the same thing with the original design. And the reason the original's not done this is that a lot longer in time. So the case would have to be a lot more expensive and a lot more plastic.
So you don't have to have a cover over the part that goes into the slot?
I've got one design. I haven't printed it, but you wouldn't have to if you didn't want to.
Yeah.
Will these things come in custom shades? Like if my CoCo is slightly yellowed, can I get a shade of that to match the CoCo?
Do you have any adjustable plastics so as it gets more yellow?
Actually, that's funny because when my wife seen this in the CoCo, okay, can you get the color to match?
So you're getting it from at home too.
Okay, and so that was like the first thing out of her mouth when she'd seen both of them together. She'd seen them separately because I'd brought that out and showed her what I was doing. But when I plugged it into CoCo and she was in here, that was her first thing, And so I don't know. I mean, I've had cases where I've had a yellow that's a little bit more ivory color, but it's kind of hard to find that match. And everybody's CoCo is yellowed at a different rate. So, yeah, you're not going to.
So are you going to call that the strong box?
I don't know what I'm calling it. Working name is Mega Mini Hat or something, to fit on top of it. And
a big hat because it's tall. 2-gallon hat because it's tall.
So, primarily this was I had very little bit of free time this week and didn't have time to set up with soldering iron and everything else. And so I just pulled out the CAD program and did this. And then last night I put it on the printer about 10 o'clock at night. About 10 this morning, it was done.
Is it Carlos that makes the stickers that can go on there? Yeah.
Carlos Camacho, he makes labels.
That would look cool on
stuff,
there.
Well, and there's just stuff that can be done. But, this was just this is the prototype. Some dimensions was off on some of the things, so I had to get out the tools and cut and stuff like that. But that's typical of the first prototype. But it actually looks...
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's taller, so it can stabilize a bigger cartridge.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that.
So,
no, does it fit in tight?
Yeah, it is.
To where
it is pretty tall.
You don't have to have a locker stuck on the bottom like the MPIs used to have.
Oh, the old stabilizing locking boards at the.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this is going, but it was just like, hey, if I have a 3D printer, why can't I have something custom for myself? At the minimal, okay?
There you go.
Oh, that's good. Oh, a toaster.
Yeah. All right, let me just switch gears for a second because I know Jason's with us, and Damon. I'm not sure if Damon can hear us or if it looks like he's muted. Hopefully, we'll hear from him. But hey, Jason, we haven't heard from you in a while. Anything new going on with CoCo, man?
You know what? Not a whole heck of a lot. I'm still trying to come up with my imitation real time clock. I can't believe it's not a time clock.
I can't believe it's not.
Could it be used for a countdown clock too?
Put a switch on it.
No, in the spirit of being Australian, it's going to spin backwards.
And be upside down.
It'll be upside down. It'll be an upside down clock with a switch on it, so you can disable it when you don't need it. So, that's cool. So I want to take a brief commercial break. When we come back from commercial break, it's almost going to be like another commercial break because we're going to try this segment. So for those of you who want to try this live, when we come back from commercial, we're going to do a segment called C Load M. And I'm going to play a wave file for you that's going to be a machine language program that you can load into your color computer. So for those of you on the panel, you might want to mute your ears. I mean, I think just about everybody. You're going to probably want to mute your ears because it's going to be a whole bunch of radio chatter, right? So we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back, and then we're going to play this file. And for the first person who is able to load this into a CoCo and tell us what it is, you'll get a prize. I don't know what the prize is. It might be Grant Leighty. Might be a date with the CoCo Man. We're just not sure what the prize is going to be, but it'll be a prize, and it'll be a prize worth winning. So let's take a break, and we'll be back. And we also have a CoreDUMP tonight too. Nick Marotta, not Nick Marotta, but Nick Marentes, our special guest, Nick Marotta. We're very, very glad to have you, Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. But Nick Marentes is going to show us his spaceship designs and so much more. So let's decide which commercial here we want to run. We've already seen the Wallaby. We've seen Fletcher. How about a little bit of CoCo Forever? That's what I'd like to see. All right, so we're going to be back after a little bit of CoCo Forever.
We turn you to CoCoTALK.
Let's try this again. All right, we're going to try this again. CoCo Forever.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moore, and this is Jacob Moore. Gotcha. And we are the Forest of Doom guys, and the CoCo Forever guys, and we're at CoCo Fest, and we love Stevie Strobe.
Imagine a different world. A world where Tandy Corporation has the upper hand. Where the CoCo surpassed all competitors. And all you have to do is travel back in time without making a single mistake. CoCo Forever.
How does it feel? I'm still believing.
You definitely earned this office.
Yes, you're too kind, and thank you.
You want to grab some food before we head back and look at that Alt Reality OS9 module?
It's only 40 years past due, but yeah, sure.
How does it feel?
Thank you. Yes, you're too kind.
I'm still believing.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Computer shopping has never been better at Radio Shack. Here's proof. Our new ultra-high-performance 386SX 20 megahertz computer with 85 megabyte hard drive, only $12.99. And it's from Tandy, manufacturer of the best-selling PC compatibles in America. Or get a 286-based Tandy home office computer with color monitor and hard drive, only $899.95. Shop your friendly nearby Radio Shack. Great selection, superior service. Nobody compares.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
All right, we're back. And this is the part where just about everybody needs to cover their ears. I don't know what we're going to call this segment, and this may be the first and only time we have this segment. Who knows what's going to happen here? However, we talked about it. It sounds like a good idea. We're going to give it a shot. So we're going to play a file, a C-Load-M file. So you're going to hear cassette data coming across your radio transmission waves here. And if you're able to somehow get your CoCo, real, virtual, or imaginary, to take this file, load it up, and execute it, and then you can let us know what actually got executed and what program you got. We're going to give you a prize. I don't know what the prize is. I don't know what that prize is worth. And whatever, it doesn't matter. This is an experiment. And it's probably going to be one that we're going to regret, but that's okay.
So. And remember, everyone, too, you're competing with D. Bruce Moore, who's going to actually know it live on the show.
That's right. And D. Bruce Moore's challenge, should he choose to accept it, is to tell us what that program is. All right. So we're going to cue the graphic, which means that right now we are going to do this. And I'm going to mute the Zoom chat because we don't want anybody talking over this and getting us some CRC errors and any bit errors in here. This is important. This is critical data transmission that's about to take place. So I'll be muting the Zoom chat. We're going to play the WAV file. If you have sensitive ears or you suffer from stroke or what do they call it, seizures and stuff like that, you might want to mute or close your eyes. So epilepsy, narcolepsy, any of that kind of stuff. All right, so cue the audio clip. Wow. Is it gone? Is it gone? All right. So, history has been made. The ratings have plummeted.
I got it. I got it.
I've got it. I've copied it. I got it in my head. I know exactly what it is.
I got it too. I got it. I said it first. It's mine.
It's the Last Ninja.
No, it's not. It's be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
That's it.
By the way, I just wanted to comment. There appears to be a bug at 4,000 hex during the load. So
I might need to adjust the knob just a little bit, lower the volume, and reload. Okay, so if you're a member of the CoCoTALK panel, you're ineligible to win this prize. So members and family members, past, present, and future. But if you're a part of the audience and you're able to get what this is, and it might be Ovaltine, it might be the Last Ninja, but you will have to email your answer to CoCoTALK at CoCoTALK.live, CoCoTALK.live, whatever. And the first person with the correct answer will win the yet to be determined prize. So we have some guesses. But I need somebody to email it. So I'm just going to put out
we
there.
We didn't hear it, right? because I didn't hear it.
Did you guys hear it?
I didn't hear it either.
I heard it on Facebook. It came out on Facebook.
Oh, good.
I think Steve
That's
muted it
interesting.
for us.
I didn't hear it. I just heard the very beginning, very faintly, and then it faded out, and I didn't hear anything anymore.
Maybe the audio sharing through Zoom is doing some type of clipping where you
Yeah.
guys didn't hear it, but it should have made its way through the.
I just figured since I didn't hear anything, it must
so
be the
Rob-
last ninja.
Rob Emmons says the prize might be dinner with Jim Brain. So
Controlled live over food.
Ken Reichert says it's Donkey Monkey
it's
King.
gonna be
It could-
Second prize would be
Lifetime
2 dinners with Jim
in
Brain.
Retro Innovations.
Now, has this ever been done before?
Well, they've done it's radio. They used to play stuff over the radio. I think in the BBC, they used to load software over the radio for people to actually record
what
and
about
put on
the
their
color
machines.
computer
Right? Has it been done for the color computer over the air live? I can neither confirm.
I've never
nor
heard of it.
deny
I mean,
that.
Rainbow
I
did
don't
publish
know.
that flexi disc record with 3 programs on it in their July 1983 anniversary issue.
And if you play it backwards, it says the devil is good.
Referring to Jim Brain, or what are you talking about?
Says the Commodore 64 is good.
Paul is dead. Paul is dead. Paul is dead.
It's like a country song. You play it backwards. Your wife comes back. Your dog comes back to life. You get your truck back.
Number
right?
9. Number 9. Number 9.
Yes, number 9. Absolutely.
You're gonna check
Good
your
stuff.
email?
All right. So I don't know if am I going to check my email?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
think the answers have come in that
Actually,
quickly?
when it loads
You
in,
think so?
the name comes up. Yes, it does.
Oh, does it really?
You know that,
Let me
right?
check my email. Uh-oh, Ben Drake sent in the answer. I got an email from Ben Drake. Let's see. Adam Coolidge sent in an answer. The first email answer, though, I got was from Ben Drake's, and he
What is
did
it?
give the right answer. You got... so the answer is Adam Coolidge says I got an IO error halfway through though.
Very authentic.
So let me switch over. I'll switch over to the screen so you guys can see what's going on here. So Adam Coolidge says program is Puyan. And that is correct. But the first answer I got was from Ben Drake, which came in at 9:14 p.m. my time, which was only a minute ago. And he said
he typed
Puyan.
that in,
So
he typed that in
that
the YouTube
is...
chat.
Yes, I know, but that doesn't count because I said you got to email
I
me.
thought he was joking when he
Oh, he
put
did.
it there. Okay.
Oh yeah, so Adam says the name popped up right away as
Yeah,
soon as you start
correct.
loading it. That the name popped up. See, I didn't even. Okay, so
even if he wasn't successful,
that's cool.
Oh.
Even if it didn't finish
Yeah.
loading, if you just got the first couple
while
of
I was
bytes, that's all you
looking for
needed,
a
huh?
program to do this with, I loaded a couple of programs for the Dragon, and they have headers that come up and like advertises for
Okay.
what's coming on, and like Datasoft or whoever.
Okay.
And I thought that was pretty cool, but
some of the
couldn't
CoCo ones
play it.
did too. You're talking about the splash screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Madness.
while it's loading.
Yeah, used to Madness
Yeah,
in the
more than
Minotaur
just
would
a
do
little
that. Yeah.
name in the corner.
Yeah.
A full screen of stuff.
There was a commercial program. I'm trying to remember who it was by. It was by Sugar Software or maybe Prickly Pear, something like that. It actually had a little thing where you could edit those screens and it would make the loaders for you for your basic programs or your machine language programs. And you could put your own custom intro screens like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to get a prize to Ben Drake, who's also on YouTube. Yeah. Ben Drake is on YouTube as Explore VR. And for those of you who don't remember, Ben Drake, as we first saw him do his demo of Phantom Slayer with the virtual reality rig, and then he also updated
Now
that
he
to
should
do
send
Gate
us a
Crasher.
picture of his setup. You know how it looked when he was downloaded. That'd be cool.
Well,
yeah.
He can have what's behind door number 1 or what's in the box.
Yeah. Ken says it's Buzzard Lance and the Phantom Riders.
You're
Talk
gonna give
about
him
a
a
mashup
broken
there, huh?
FOD cup.
What country does he live in? Does he
Yeah,
live
we
in
got-
Canada or the United States?
I think Ben's in the UK.
Oh, gee, a late nighter.
Yeah. So what do we think of this
That's pretty
segment? Was
cool,
this a
wasn't it?
keeper? I guess we'll have to wait and see who else we get some feedback from. So for those of you who are watching us live, let us know what you think, and then later on, if you're listening to us on the podcast, sure, give us some feedback.
Yeah, you guys could post in the CoCo group on Facebook a picture of Puyan running that you downloaded from from the
that'd be cool.
show.
And so we got a request for the sound of a dot matrix printer next. So.
And you have to identify which type of dot.
Can you identify which model printer this is? And I need you to tell me the viscosity of the ink on the ribbon.
Is it a red ribbon or a black ribbon?
Here's a modem connecting. Tell me what the baud rate is.
I could do that one too.
That looks like the little gift there.
Coming up later, the TP10 print.
So what should we send for a prize? What kind of prize would you like, Ben? Would you like an article of merchandise from the Retro Swag Shop, like a CoCo T-shirt
cool.
or something? Let me know what you want, Ben.
Comment
And
in
I
the
guess
chat
send
too.
me
He
an
said,
address.
well, I enjoyed it. Glad it wasn't a virus.
All your discs are infected.
All your base belongs to us.
Yeah. All your ROMs are now infected.
It's all a subliminal message.
Oh Lord!
You're gonna turn on your army of drones.
Yes. Now, hopefully YouTube won't give me a copyright for that, right? So since I've just transmitted copywritten software over there.
Yeah, they've been getting really sticky with that stuff lately too. I've been hearing complaints from a lot of the big podcasters too. So.
Nick Marentes, our friend from down under, are you willing and able to show us some of your
can
spaceship
do
designs? I
yeah,
need to
I'll
switch
share
to the
it.
graphic before we
Nick,
do that now.
Nick,
Yeah.
this is a new medium, new way for you to distribute your game when it's done. It took about 45 minutes.
Yeah, digital distribution. It's like we're going to send you this live. We're sending the software to you live.
Nick's, it's not Nick's, but Chet's new game, for a whole 2 meg game, it'll probably take about an hour and a half to load.
All right, well, let me go ahead and play the intro here because this is a professional show, so hold on just a second. All right, everybody, get ready for another core dump with Nicholas Marentes, where we're going to hear about Funstar, developed in the OS 9 and available on ROM cartridge.
Has the music over yet? Oh.
There you go.
All right.
Take it away, Nick.
All right. Now, it's not too much to show, but I've been working on all the aliens. So there'll be a few aliens I've got to develop, but I've got to design them first and get them animated as well. So I've created 3, and I'll just start the game. And I've got them; they're just sitting in the one spot. They're not flying around yet. I've still to create the routines that'll navigate them, that'll make them shoot, and all the other stuff. At this point, I'm just trying to design the aliens. So the game will start.
Prepare for battle.
And if I just move to the left a bit, so
there they are.
You can see the 3 aliens. They're just sitting there, flying over the thing, but not moving about. But they're sprites and all. I can move my ship and just fly right through them all. So it's all full transparency there. I started drawing him. When I first wanted to see how many I could actually display on the screen before the program slowed down and just drop frames. And this very first alien, I was able to print 20 of them up on the screen. and it probably had bit more room for more. But I was able to do 20 of these ones here without any loss in the speed of the game that you see there now. So I figured, well, that's a pretty good test.
Wow.
That means I got plenty of time there for aliens, and it'll have all up. I'm planning on 5 different aliens, and these ones here will probably be the ones that'll appear in the this one that I'm in front of now, and maybe this one will be the ones that pop up in level 1. And level 3, then you'll have all 3 of them come on. And level 4 and 5, I'll create some new aliens for 4 and 5, for levels 3 and 4 rather. And by then you'll have all the different aliens coming to attack. There'll also be boss aliens as well, the big one that you're going to destroy at the end of the level. But it takes a fair bit of time to design all these so they look right and animate right and everything. So the last 2 days I've been creating these 3, and that's all I've done so far. But it's coming along. It looks promising as far as speed goes. After I've created the aliens, then it's the big routine that actually manages them, actually controls their flight, controls their firing, all that sort of stuff. So that's a fairly big routine. But at this stage, I've got 3 aliens I can throw up basically anywhere on the screen, and you can see that they are superimposed quite well. They work with transparency. It's all working quite well. That's it so far.
Well done.
Any questions?
Very cool.
The one on
And
the right
the background.
USS Enterprise.
Does it come with a real time clock?
I could put one. This looks very Enterprisey, so I was a bit concerned. I didn't want to rip off Star Trek, so I made it green so it looks alien.
Solve all the copyright problems.
Yeah, right. Right. That's kind of like what they did with Zaxxon in Mode 3, right? So
yeah, as you see, all 3 of those alien ships are green. So no confusing which ones are the aliens. It's good to be green.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to add there too,
and they're animated. They've got
is that when you have the 20 aliens running at once and all the screen scrolling and stuff, that's also with this 2-voice sound routine running in the background.
Oh yeah, the sound is still working, and it's got all the sound effects and everything. 3 shots and the multi-fire somewhere here. And the bullets just go through. Yeah, the bullets just go through them at the moment. They're invincible. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Taxing the code to almost to the max. I've got the 3D scroll. I got the scrolling rather going. I've got the 2-channel sound routine working, and I've got the aliens and with full sprite capabilities all working. So there's still enough room in there to put the actual game logic itself. So
now, are you going to give each customer, when they buy one of your programs, a little fan they can put on their machine?
A fan? Yeah, it's coming along. It's better than what I expected originally. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, just got to make a game of it. At the moment, it's just graphic.
Cool. It looks good. It looks really good. Yeah.
So we'll see how it pans out from here. The animation is all just using it's simple animation. And this one you can see the idea is the engines at the back are spinning round and round, or it's got some part of it that spins. This one's got the whole center portion that spins, and this one's got the Cylon eye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So they're all animated. That's cool.
They're all animated.
Now, is that animation? Is that?
Oops,
that's
sorry,
not palette shifting animation.
No,
though,
no,
right?
that's actually drawing them up.
Pixel shifting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's giving us an idea of how quickly those are being updated too, because you can see how how often the colors are looping.
Well, this is probably smoother in person.
Yeah.
I can't see your screen. Is it jittering on your screen? Because
I mean, it stutters every now and again.
Slow,
and your audio breaks up a little
but
bit
it is smooth. Yeah. There's no jitter here at all.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like, how many frames per second are we?
It's well, it's not 60, and I don't think it's 30. I think it's 15. So 15 frames per second. But in that frame rate, I can have 20 of these aliens, it would appear, as well as all the
that's pretty good.
All the scrolling, all the sound, and all the sprite management's all happening in the background too. I mean, the code I wrote, I didn't have to worry about erasing the background or restoring the background or nothing. I just had to draw the spaceship as if that was the only thing on the screen. The engine handles it all. So all that work and theorize is finally paying off. So there is that overhead in
really
getting
good.
that to work, but I knew that once you get all the overhead out of the way, then the idea is the engine should provide you with some advantages later on that may make up for it. And it's showing itself now, because these aliens were easy to put up there.
This is your engine, right?
Yeah. It's a 40-year-old engine, actually. I made this on the TRS-80. Of course, it didn't have color back then, but I've enhanced it to work on a CoCo. I just figured it was a good engine back then for a TRS-80, and I figured, surely no one's done this on the CoCo. If this works on the CoCo, this could be a very good engine. But it can't do 60 frames per second, though, because of the extra workload it has to do in the background. But it does allow a lot of other things as well. It simplifies the coding. So, yeah.
I think it looks good as it is.
Neat. Yeah, if you run it on one of these FPGA devices.
Oh, you mean like this? That's on VCC. You can hit the accelerator on the VCC. You can turn off the on my screen, it's still smooth, but it's really scrolling fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Incredible optimizations.
The power. It's
you hit the optimize button.
309 coupled with the real-time clock.
Oh, there you go.
Makes it all happen.
Running off a ROM cartridge made it run faster too. Right?
We just downloaded it over the podcast here, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
16,
but yeah, that's it for so far.
All right, cool. Yeah, whenever you want to
it's me, is it? Oh, okay. Yep, I better hit the stop. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was chewing into your audio a little bit. You sounded like more than once.
I really I just had some beer.
Hey, so with your permission, Nick, I'd like to offer as a possible prize to our virtual reality friend, maybe to send him a copy of Popstar Pilot from the swag shop, with your permission, and then if that's what he would like to receive. So I will give you your choice then of either Popstar Pilot or the Best of CoCoTALK Volume 1 and 2. I'll send you some DVDs from the swag shop. You just got to send me your address. Cool. Yeah, that's looking really good. And it's all that hard work.
Well,
now, right?
Yeah, finally.
So,
just remember with Popstar Pilot, you're not getting just Popstar Pilot. You're getting everything up till Popstar Pilot.
Something like 10 games, isn't it? I can't remember how many I put on there.
Plus the extra bonus footage.
Oh yeah, the video footage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no real
Featuring
Yeah,
L.
yeah,
Curtis
yeah, yeah.
Boyle's mullet.
Gee, thanks for reminding me.
Yes.
Hey, we all had more hair back then.
Mohair.
I don't know if David Ladd ever had hair, but we'll have to ask him.
So Ben is saying though if I could get one of those TRS-80 first-person games like Rat's Revenge or Death Maze 5000, Labyrinth, or Voyager 1, Sabotage of the Robot Ship, I'd make a video of it with the Omni to show you. Okay, that'd be kind of cool. This little walking machine. Cool stuff. Yeah, so Ben, if you want a Popstar Pilot or Best of CoCoTALK sent to you, that'd be cool. Be happy to do that. What have we not talked about this week already? We missed anything? And Damon, has Damon said anything yet? Has Damon become unmuted? Are you just listening, or are you gonna talk with us too? I'm not sure if Damon's muted or wants to talk.
We haven't had any
knows how
David
to
Ladd
unmute.
stuff.
We have not. Well, where's David Ladd? Oh, David Ladd's getting a freaking blizzard right now or something, isn't he?
He's a Dairy Queen.
Nick Marotta says the best of CoCoTALK or blank disc. Hey, leave the trolling to the professionals, but good job. Good job there.
We
Nick.
haven't had a David Ladd commercial for a while.
Yeah.
No, I don't run them anymore because of the
Oh.
copyrighted music, and but I usually run them when David Ladd was going to do a segment. It was kind of the intro to his segment, you know.
Where did you get your
So,
VCC 2.0 from?
Oh, me?
Yeah, where did you get yours from?
What's that? Hang on. Oh no, there is
there's
some
a GitHub
website.
for it.
Yeah,
If-
I can't remember where it is.
Yeah, it's a GitHub.
I've got
there's
the link.
there's a link
Hang
to it
I'll
on
put it in the chat. If
you go to imacoconut.com, there's a link to it there too.
You got it from this thing called the internet.
Emulators. The internets, yes. The internet, not just for porn anymore. So now with 30% more Nick Marotta. So what have we not talked about? I feel like we've blown through the show quickly and we've run out of gas.
Well, we
Have
didn't
we
show
missed
our,
anything?
our blue screen with all the suppliers.
Oh yeah. Our what should we call it?
contributors.
Yes, our
Yeah.
sponsors. Good call there.
Yeah.
Good
We'll
call there,
charge it
Ron
all.
Delvaux. How about we do that? Hey, thank you. All right, so we would this would not be an episode of CoCoTALK if we didn't mention some of our outstanding members of our community, and those who are making stuff for us people who own CoCo. So one of the cool projects out there is the CoCo VGA project, where you can add clean VGA output to a CoCo 1 or 2 or Dragon, theoretically even an MC10. So if you'd like to get VGA output with 64 columns and extra graphics modes and extra palette registers and downloadable character sets and you name it, check out Brendan Donahue's project at CoCoVGA.com. He's on the show. He's the guy who sets dumpsters on fires, but he also runs Boyson Technologies, maker of the Boomerang memory board of 2 megabytes of memory for your color computer 3 and the Paradigm joystick adapters, and who knows what else he'll bring us in the future. So check out BOYSONTech.com for Boyson Technologies. The professional troll Jim Brain himself at Retro Innovations. Fine quality products for your Commodore TI and color computers at go4retro.com. The original mass producer of fine quality third-party aftermarket CoCo accoutrements and accessories, Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com. Check them out. Jason the CoCo Man Reichert's Australian named cables like the Switcheroo and the Wallaby and the Joey Jr. and the Blooming Onion and all kinds of other products you can get at cocoman.biz. We're no longer live on Roku, but we can still be replayed on Roku, thanks to Roger Taylor on the CoCo TV channel on Roku.
That means you can download that program on Roku.
You could download that program on Roku. That's right. So if you want to get some cool custom merchandise that says I'm a Coconut or CoCoTALK t-shirts, DVDs, coffee mugs, somebody recently bought a mouse pad, you can get custom retro merchandise at the 8-Bit 256 Retro Swag Shop. You can interface with us at our website, CoCoTalk.live. Let's not forget the CoCo Crew podcast at CoCoCrew.org. Friend of the show, maker of our best of episodes, Brian Joyce at Extructus Productions, EXTRUCTUS.com. Ed Snyder, the Cylon, the Zipster, maker of the Mega Mini MPI and the CoCo PSG and the CoCo SDC and all kinds of other cool products. Check him out at the TheZippster zone.com. I believe we've covered most of the important things. We have a question from Adam Coolidge. Does the CoCo VGA require modifications of the motherboard? Somebody want to take that question? Richard Lorbieski, you've helped with a few of these.
Mainly is the socket, the 6847. Some of them are soldered in, most of them are not. So basically it just plugs in, and then you have to modify the case itself if you want to mount the VGA adapter onto the case. So that has to be modified as well.
Yeah, so it is. So the VDG, the video display generator chip, it needs to be desoldered and replaced with a socket because this plugs into where it goes, and then the VDG plugs on top of that.
Now
most
of the CoCos have the VDG with the socket in it, so you don't necessarily have to remove that. Unsolder that. And then there's some people that use the sound. You have to also add a sound option to that as well. You could actually take out the RF modulator and put in a composite, or you can actually solder a sound wire directly into from the board onto the case itself. So it's most of the modifications are on the case, not on the motherboard.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because it's VGA, which is just the display part, but it doesn't handle the sound part. So I guess some people are doing composite mods in conjunction with this, so the composite mod would give you audio.
You get the audio out on that, but the motherboard, you can actually jumper it directly from the motherboard.
Right, and I think Ed Snyder showed
but you
a video
also
on
have
how
to
do
have
that
it
before,
hooked
too.
into the back of the case, so you're going to have to make modifications to the back of the case.
Right, now I believe it's just a little mini DIN connector that sticks out of the back, and then you plug an adapter from there, and it then kind of
right.
breaks
Well,
that
actually,
out
it's
into
a 15 pin, I believe. But the good thing about it is he includes a template, a metal one, so it's pretty much goof proof.
Okay.
I mean, of course, you have to have the proper tools, but it's a lot easier with that metal template to mount that case. The stuff onto there.
And if somebody did not want to cut holes in their case, it's an actual ribbon cable too. You could just kind of stick the ribbon cable out of the back of the CoCo.
I'm mistaken. It's not a 15 pin DIN. It's like an S video connector.
Yeah, it's like a little mini DIN that you plug into that has the VGA connection on the other side of that, right?
Thinking of something else. Sorry about that. But yes.
Yeah. But it's a neat little product. I'm looking forward to getting one installed. Matter of fact, we're running out of time. I need to send you my CoCo, right, Richard? I need to send you my CoCo and then order my thing from, what's his face, Brendan, so we can get that going. Because I need it professionally installed because I'm not a solderer.
TV, I just wanted to mention... yeah, don't get me to do it. You'll get a bunch of tufts of hair on it and everything else. I just wanted to mention in the SoCal RGE, which is the show that's going on, Richard just posted, he said he sent you an email with links to the photos and videos that he made today at the show. If you wanted to.
Let's take
and he's got a commentary.
Yes. Oh, wow.
We have CoCoTALK. We have CoCo Fest to talk about.
Wow. Too. We have CoCo Fest. What is CoCo Fest?
A new thing.
Yes. All right. Well, let's take a look at that. Let's look at some of these videos here. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. All right. Well, let's see what one of these here is.
The arcade section was great too. They had.
Oh, so we're going backwards. Let's go to the top and work our way down then maybe. Is that on the bottom of the list? All right. Let's see.
All right, we are here at the Southern California Retro Game Expo in Pasadena, California. And we just walked into the main hall, and here's what we see.
No.
Oh, you guys can't hear it. Can you hear it now?
Lots of people here. And what do you want to get, Nolan?
A Fortnite gun.
You want to check out the Fortnite guns. All right, let's go around and see what's here.
Oh, this is cool that his website looks like it's auto-playing the clips. Or it was for a little bit. Unless that was just buffering on one clip.
Yeah.
Okay, this looks like Tim Lindner's setup. Okay.
And right away, I found the CoCos.
There's Tim. Multi-pack.
Ooh, Dragonfire. For Intellivision. There's a CoCo 1. There's an Intellivision controller.
Oh, that's like the Tandy Vision,
might
right?
be. Yeah, it looks like Tandy. The Intellivision was white.
Okay, so I'm not sure whose CoCo we're looking at here. This is the picture he sent us.
Look, there's a fan.
The way it's all hacked up, it might be one of Marty's
Yeah,
originals.
right. Yeah, right. Good coverage.
There's an area set up here with a bunch of retro computers and game consoles and TVs. There's some Sony professional monitors, and you can just walk around and play whatever you want to. And so we're playing a GameCube game here on the Wii. It's some kind of weird like Shrek racing game. There's vendors all around. They have all kinds of stuff like keychains and perler bead crafts and games and gaming artifacts, stuff for all the old consoles.
Cool stuff. A lot of good content here. And they're pretty short clips too. So.
Here's another exhibit hall with all the arcade games.
Yeah, this is kind of a candy store.
Pinball machines, all kinds of old and new arcade games.
Nice. We got a bunch of them in there. Let's jump down a little bit. Let's look at another one. Oh, we got some pictures in there too.
And
a few pictures.
we went to the Doghouse Beer Garden here in downtown Pasadena for lunch.
Ah!
What did you get, Nolan?
A cheeseburger.
But no beer. No beer for the little one, though, huh? And we got a couple of JPEGs here. Let's see what we got here. Oh, look at that. That's a nice little entry there, huh? SoCal Retro Gaming Expo. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So thanks for sending that to us, Richard. I'm sure I'm going to screw up your last name, so I won't try to pronounce it. Very cool stuff. Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, it looks a nice, good size show. So if you're in the area, it's still on tomorrow. You should go check it
Ken
out.
says, do I have the Make the Trek commercial? Oh my goodness. Do I not have that? I don't have it queued up, Bruce. Yeah, you guys mentioned CoCo Fest, and we would be remiss if we're talking about CoCo Fest and we didn't get to the commercial. So let me see if I can
Is this
find
the part of the show where you ask who's going to CoCo Fest except Richard and I?
No, we don't care. I'm trying to find the damn Make the Trek video here. I know I have it.
I
somewhere.
can play the opening music if you want.
Would it be? Yeah, play the opening music because I can't find it right now. I don't know if I have it under commercials or under videos. Make the Trek. I found it. We'll wait for Brian the Music Man, and then I'll go ahead and throw up the one that I've got.
Is it coming through all right?
It's getting clipped a lot by your.
The reading's growing stronger, Captain. Coming from a star system directly ahead.
CoCo Fest, make the trek to the place you belong. Illinois, Heron Point, make the trek, CoCo Fest.
CoCo Fest, May 4th and 5th, 2019 in Lombard, Illinois. Make the trek. Touch the heron.
Fascinating.
That was good.
That is good. So yeah, we do have. That's Bruce Moore. Yeah, that event, that SoCal event looks pretty good, right? So you got all the retro stuff, you've got the arcade machines, you got big ass glasses of beer. I mean, what's there not to like about that? That's pretty awesome. So we're going to talk about CoCo Fest. Is that what my producer Ron Delvaux is telling me? Ron, are you still with me?
Yes, I'm here.
The immigrant. Oh, you're back. All right. So we're here. We're talking about CoCo Fest now. What are we going to talk about, Ron?
Who's going? Who's going? I'm not going. Anyone going?
I have to. It's like right by my house. So.
You have a moral obligation, right? If you're within 5 hours of the Lombard, Chicago,
Ron can't
Illinois
make it because he got
area,
snowed in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Now, you're familiar with the website now, too, Jim? It's glensidecc.com is the website for... Excellent. So, let's see. Bryza probably not going to make it. Although Craig Stewart from Australia is making it. So we'll have at least one Australian there. Yeah, Nick Marotta, you going to come to CoCo Fest? You can catch a ride with Curtis
Because
if you want.
Canada's so small and we're right beside each other. Yeah,
yeah. You're like neighbors. It's like Nick. Everybody's his neighbor, right? So
no, I'd love to, but I can't this year. Hopefully next year.
L. Curtis Boyle will be there making the trek.
Anybody can do like a live stream?
We'll probably do some stuff for, when we're there. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people will. I've tried to stream the entire event in the past, but it just gets to be very exhausting. So I'm not going to try to stream everything all weekend, but I'll try to do little snippets here and there. I'm sure a lot of people will. Ron said Correct. You're not going to make it, right, Ron? Timberman will not be there. We will miss you, Ron.
A bundle of money comes from heaven like manna in the desert.
Yeah, we could. Curtis Boyle can just swing by and grab you on his way.
I don't want to add another 18 hours to drive each way. That's fine.
Nobody lives here.
Rob Inman says there'll be at least one Australian and many wallabies will be at CoCo Fest this year. And we know Brian the Music Man's going to be there. Jim's going to be there. Sure. Brian, you coming? There. Brian's going to be there. Jim's going to bring his
MIDI wind controller.
His wind. It's going to break wind for us at CoCo Fest. So, Brian's going to be there. Mark Bosley, you going to be able to be there?
Putting the money together.
Okay. And we know Richard Lorbieski will be there in Boyson Technologies. And Jason, the Coco Man Reichert.
Even though I'm outside the realm of moral obligation, I'm going to be exceeding expectations. I'm about 3 hours outside of that, but I'll be there.
Yeah, well.
Excellent, excellent. James Diffendeffer going to make the trek?
But
I might release something in time for the fest.
Oh, I was going to say, Jason.
I'm sorry,
Jason
Richard.
is right. He has no morals.
Immoral obligation.
Good times, good times. Cool, cool. And have we heard from Damon at all? Damon's been here in spirit, but muted the entire time. So I'm not sure if Damon's with us or not with us. But hello, Damon. And what? All right. So what else? What have we not talked about now? We've run the sponsors. We've run some commercials. We've done some news. We've had a core dump. We've seen an acquisition. Have we done it all? Have we beat this one to death already in under 2 hours?
Real-time clock.
I'm not sure. Hey, Rob Inman wants to know if you can get there by train, James Inman. Just jump on one of those trains.
Just ride the rails all the way over to Lombard.
Yeah, where's my train button right now? That's not my train button. Is this my train button? That's not my train button. Is this my train button? Oh, that was the construction at Curtis's house. All right. That's not the train.
Cleaning up his bit.
Where the hell's my train? Where the hell's my train? I can't find my train. James, play. Yeah, James.
It's okay,
where's your
it's
train?
a professional show.
There we go. There's the train.
In order to ride one of those trains, they'd have to slow down enough I could jump on.
That just sounds like a challenge. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Be like me on the back of a horse trying to ride alongside of it and get on it like the bandits in the old westerns.
You could call yourself Tom Mix, and then you'd be a real celebrity at the fest. So,
Simon Johansson's been working on stuff.
Simon, yes.
Yeah.
Simon's going to be the madman.
I've been helping him. I play some of his creations on my hardware for him. And he's a pretty exciting guy.
So, does anybody remember like the programs that they would print in the Rainbow? Like, I mean, I know there was
Rainbow
one I did a
Ideas.
long time ago. It was like super long. It took me and my friend like days to write this out. We never could get it to work. It just killed me.
Like the program
Yeah,
listing
they
that you
actually
had to type in and
text of
everything?
I think it was a basic program or something.
Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep. I did one or two of them. There's two that I remember. One of the ones I remember was kind of like a UFO shooting game where every time you pressed the joystick button, it would shoot a line at one of the UFOs. The UFO is like a little circle that got painted on the screen, and it kept like moving around, and just you kind of had to shoot at these UFOs. But there was another one that I remember that actually had 4 fields of scrolling stuff in there that was like a little in-game assembly routine where you like these little obstacle courses, and there was 2 ones that scrolled horizontally. There was 2 that scrolled vertically. It was a really cool looking thing.
John Fraze, the guy
who
who was Illustrated Memory Banks, I think it was. It's on my website.
That's a different name.
That was
Fred Skirbo, I think.
That
Fred Skirbo. That name
sounds
familiar,
right. And his name came up on Facebook a little while ago. He passed away about 15 or 20 years ago due to.
Oh wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah. You know, another one I remember. It was a one-line program, but it was a mini compiler, or maybe it wasn't a one-line program, but it was a mini compiler where it would take any single line of BASIC that you could write and convert it to an exe file. But it was intentionally a short program. Like you couldn't run a whole basic program, but you could write a short basic program, and it compiled it for you, and it made an exe file. It was a little mini one-line compiler. Does anybody remember that one?
Do you mean a bin file? Oh, okay.
It made a bin file, yeah, but it was a compiler that was in the Rainbow, and it would take a one-line basic program and convert it to assembly for you and make it a binary file. It would assemble it down to.
I just posted the link to the marathon with the screenshot. It is by John Fraze. It's not by Fred Skirbo. So,
okay.
Well, it's not illustrated memory banks.
So it wasn't AMD.
Yeah.
Oh, here, let me bring that up on the. Bring that up. So this is on Curtis Boyle's website. Marathon, yeah, and it had 4 different screens that all scrolled, right? But we can't get those screenshots.
If you just zoom the page, you should.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So you had like the kind of like the Sea Dragon looking screens. You had the hot air balloons and the horizontal vertical scrolling. It was written in BASIC, but the scrolling part was like assembly language, right? Yeah. So, yeah. And it was really impressive to see. Matter of fact, I think I just reused that and put my own graphics into it and made my own games with it. So, yeah, really neat. I remember that one.
Do you remember Zonks?
But, yeah.
Yes.
It had the coolest intro screen. I remember it was a machine language program you typed in from the Rainbow. So did the read data poke stuff. Okay. And it's on the archive. Okay. I have it. I have a copy here. It's on the archive. It's a really cool game. But it had the best intro screen. I used to just leave it on loop on the intro screen for like a few minutes at a time and just listen to the music. It was so cool.
Fred Skirbo had a regular column, and the Armchair Arcade or something like that.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like text that was like inverse, like flashing, and it was really neat.
Yeah,
I just threw the link for that one up in the chat too.
Zonks.
I remember Snail's Revenge.
Yeah, that was an IMB Illustrated Memory Banks one.
Yeah.
One thing I did like Rainbow, like after the first 2 years or maybe slightly less than that, they were getting so many people, writing in and complaining that, I typed a listing, I can't find the error, I can't get the stupid thing to work. So that's when they introduced that Rainbow Check Plus, where you type in so many lines and then you'd run this little machine language thing. They would do a checksum and tell you if it matched the one in the magazine, and you could tell where your errors were in small chunks of code instead of trying to figure out the whole thing. And I actually did use that quite often. It helped with mistakes.
Yeah, because that was a really long program we put in.
Yeah, if you had the Rainbow Check Plus, I think it was called, then you type in like 10 or 20 lines at a time, run this little thing, and it would tell you if it matched or not. And then if it didn't, then you knew you had a mistake in that little chunk. You didn't have to go through the whole program.
Right, if the checksum didn't match it.
Yeah. It was very helpful.
Now, I remember
there
was a Frogger clone in...
Hot CoCo?
Hot CoCo, yeah. That was huge to type in.
I typed in half of it, and then I couldn't find the next magazine. I was so bad.
The longest one we typed in, and we split this between Dwayne Downing, myself, Dick Powell, and a couple other people. I think it was 5 of us. Was the original full-length 32K version of the William Tell Overture. That was in Color Computer News, and it was a machine language program. So it's all data statements, and it was like 8 or 9 pages of hex. And I think we had, by the end of it, we had about 4 notes that were wrong out of the entire 7-minute song or whatever. So impressed we got it that good.
Wow, that's pretty good. Hey, Paul Thayer is asking what month or year was Zonks
October 1985?
Rainbow, if anybody remembers.
Approximately.
Mr. Trivia.
I just have my webpage still up and it has it listed. So.
Give or take 5 minutes.
That's all I knew. It was
Definitely October 1985. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Rainbow on tape and Rainbow on disc was like, I couldn't afford that, but that was a whole nother market. Because for those of you who are too lazy to type or can't trust your own, can't trust our printing or your spelling, then here we go. We'll just sell you
one of the things the clubs went in together to to buy.
Yeah, and that's less like copyright infringement when it was software that was technically free, anyways. So if you all chipped in on the Rainbow on disk, that's probably.
I mean, technically,
it
wasn't
right?
free because you had to buy the magazine to get the listing. So, but as long as you own the magazine, we at the club figured we'll save you the typing. We'll order one group subscription to Rainbow on Tape, and
then. Yeah, that's a good example of pooling your resources there, right? So, yeah, those were good times. I know a lot of people they mentioned that's how they learned to program was by just typing in the programs and then kind of debugging. So it's like reverse enjoying the.
Yeah, I want to see what that hot cocoa version of Frogger was like. Now that we've talked about it again, so disappointed.
Yeah.
Wonder if it's
I think my favorite hot cocoa program when they had a 3D wireframe program where you could program in the points and then the 3D space, and you could rotate it and move it, zoom in and zoom out and all that kind of stuff. Because I was going to actually use that as an engine in the game because you could do, like 3D space work from Spectral. And it was
That reminds me. Does anybody remember that program on the Apple II where it would morph the pictures from one to the other? That was really impressive stuff for the time, where you had these two different scenes, and it would literally morph the pictures from one to the other, and it was really cool animation to see these pictures kind of melt back and forth and become different things. And it was all done on the Apple II. I remember seeing those like in stores and stuff as a super cool demo.
I didn't see that one.
I didn't see it either.
Was that Apple II GS or something, or was it?
No, it was like an old school Apple II thing, but it was morphing, and it was the first time I'd ever seen any type of morphing on the screen before,
Didn't know they had morphing that early.
Screen to the other. Yeah, no, it was cool. On a 6502, right?
No less.
Another game I remember is Parachute Drop. It was basically I think it was from the Atari 2600. It was a kind of a copy of one in it, and you.
Right. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yep, and you tried to land in the landing zone, and then it had wind and stuff. And I just remember bloop 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 bloop, and it moved down the screen.
Was it a semi-language or basic game? Yeah. So kind of Lunar Lander-ish.
Was it called?
Sort of, I guess, because basically you had dropped from a plane. You had a randomly placed landing platform you had to land on. So you had to steer your guys just flying through the air with the joystick, but you had wind and stuff that would change as you're going too. So as you're floating down, all of a sudden the wind picks up and you get shoved over to the side or something. So you had to keep adjusting for it to try to land. Yeah, there's some other ones too. Like, was it Hot Cocoa? I think had the one game called Space Hawks, which was kind of a Galaxian style game. That was in a semi-language one that they had.
I don't think I ever typed that one in, but I think they had that.
Pretty sure I've got that on my site too.
Yeah, I never saw Hot Cocoa. I think the only magazine I ever saw back in the day was Rainbow. I know that some of those other magazines existed, but I never saw, because the irony of it is, unless you saw one of the magazines, it was kind of hard to subscribe because you had to get like one of those cards that had the address to mail your thing to get the subscription. So it's like, how are you going to subscribe to a magazine that you don't have access to? So
I guess we were lucky here because some of our local bookstore chains like Kohl's actually carried quite a few of those back in the day. So we had Color Computer Magazine, Hot Cocoa, and Rainbow all were getting carried. Color Computer News never was. That one, I think, before major chains started carrying the computer magazines, they'd already gone under. They went under, I think, after the September '83 issue, if I remember.
One of them got bought up by Compute, and I think it was Hot Cocoa. The Compute bought them up and then discontinued it, and then finished out everybody's subscription with Compute, and Compute didn't do anything but text-based games, and so nothing was in Extended Basic, so nobody wanted to keep subscribing.
I put the Space Hawk link in the chat there too.
So that's a worst case of trying to play to the lowest common denominator and then alienating your audience, huh? Let's see here.
I was never good in math with the denominators.
Again.
Yeah, Space Hawk looks pretty good.
All right. Space Hawk.
And that was a pure assembly language one too.
Like a Galaxian. Yeah, I mean, your ship looks pretty good down there. It's a derivative of Galaxian. It was available in Hot Cocoa magazine. It's very good quality for a magazine game. The article said it required extended basic, but I'm not sure why it would. It may work without it. Roger
He
Smith.
published commercial stuff later on too, so with T&D.
Probably a few ROM calls.
Yeah, but I can't see what extended basic ROM calls. If you're reading the keyboard or the joystick, that's color basic. So
Right.
I've never tried it, but maybe somebody should, and I can finally correct that page.
Yeah, that's neat looking. Yeah, these are all available on Curtis Boyle's games
see a
list
download for that.
website.
No, I don't have it. But you can go to the archive for most of the stuff for downloads. So it's just if you want the information on the game, that's
okay.
what my site's more for. And I'm so far behind.
Yeah. So Bruce Moore is saying he had 3 CoCo magazines in his public library where his club would meet at. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I just don't remember seeing them. They may have been out there. I just don't remember seeing them. The only magazine that really was strong in my consciousness and
Rainbow
my memories
was in
Rainbow.
my local Safeway, and when I went to college, it was in Barnes and Noble.
Hey, we've been joined by our resident Apple guy, Mark D. Overholzer. Hey, Mark, how are you? Welcome.
Glad to be here.
You're muted. Hey. Glad to have
I
you
remember
back.
here in Canada, Color Computer magazine was actually briefly carried by Canadian Tire of all places.
Or just tires.
Mark, are you fishing? What are you doing over there, Mark B?
Back scratcher.
Playing with the cat.
Oh, I need one of those.
Oh, is it back scratch? Okay, I'm trying to figure what's going on. If you're
Playing
fishing
with the cat.
or
Her favorite toy is an old shoestring on a stick.
Honest geek.
Yeah,
Shoestring
an old
on a
shoestring
stick.
on a piece of PVC pipe. That's her favorite toy.
Besides
Wow.
boxes.
So it's an example of catfishing.
Yep, catfishing.
So we missed you last week, Mark.
Oh, yeah,
Everything
just
good in
been
your
busy.
world?
This week I had a seminar I went to all day. Last week it was a talent show for a fundraiser for my church, and the week before that I was helping my child move. So
I don't remember you submitting a requisition for requesting time off, so we're going to have to have some...
Gonna dock his pay.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's
You're gonna
also
dock
been
your
working on the
pay.
rainbow.
slowly.
Oh, yeah, we had a question. People are asking for updates on the new Rainbow magazine, so can
Just
you
briefly,
update us?
I've just been trying to go through and edit the few things I have and proofread things. Most everything looks good. I just need to do a few edits on Ian's stuff because there was some updates information I got from Curtis. Other than that, everything else is probably fine. So.
Are we missing content?
No.
Is anybody behind on submitting what
everybody
they
has
said they were going to
submitted
do?
stuff, and I think a couple of people have submitted additional stuff. So
Okay, and has anything been
No.
passed off to Ron Delvaux for
Nope, all
layout
in my
yet, or
hands,
is it
so
in your
blame me.
hands? So it's going through a
that's
QC right now.
We'll be getting her done.
Okay, so all content has been delivered and assimilated. Mark Overholzer is quality checking it all, proofreading, editing, and in the very near future, it'll be passed on to Ron Delvaux for layouts. And the new Rainbow, a crowdsourced community product will be available to us in the very near
Correct.
future. That'll be
as a
very
plan,
cool.
this year, like I said, this year we do actually have content. So new content. It's good.
Yes. And so the initial plan is just to release it digitally? Is that it?
Yeah,
As
that's what
like
I'm
a
thinking.
PDF?
But I'm thinking about trying to get it printed too and have something for CoCo Fest. So something you can actually hold. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay. What is Ken Reichert saying? I found out...
He's talking about the
Mark,
CoCo magazines.
okay.
He only found out about the third-party ones once Tier City Microcomputer News, which was Radio Shack's internal
Okay.
one, went out.
Yes. You're too kind. Thank you.
How about
All right. So I
Adams's,
think we'd be...
game? Has he been working on it much?
Is Rick still here?
Ricky?
We've lost Rick. I know Rick has been working on Temple of Rome 2 and OmniStar. I don't know where he is with either one of those, but he did mention in Discord he had nothing new to update
Well, he did
us on
clear
this week,
his
so-
driveway out of snow.
sure-
I saw that.
Yeah, he's been dealing with
Yeah.
Mother Nature. So, which is something we don't deal with down here in Florida too much. We don't have to worry
You
about
get
snow
hurricanes
anyways.
instead.
Yeah, you know when the hurricane's coming. And most of the time they miss anyway.
It's
so
the
at least
sticky weather
you
in the
never know.
summer. Don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've lived my whole life with humidity, so it's
And then the skies
like,
open up. The skies
it is
open up.
what
It
it
rains
is.
for about 5 minutes, and then it's done.
Yeah. There's times where it's raining on one side of the street and not the other. You know, so it's just they say if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. You know, so it's
Talking about Chicago again.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. So we beat the show to death
I have one
tonight.
one little quick question. Just prior to in the chat there, just before Curtis's post there, I put a eBay link to a TRS-80 screen print printer. I've never seen such a thing before. I don't know if anybody's ever seen something like that operate.
Is that the thermal one that's got the curved, the paper kind of foil paper, and it comes out
Screen printer.
That's what it is.
Oh, that's
so what does it do? What is it, like a projector?
That's one of the first generation printers that Radio Shack came out with. That came with the Model 1, and basically, yeah, it was thermal paper when you print it out. It sold for like $500. It was
nuts,
real expensive.
Yeah,
but what was it printing? Like whatever was on your screen, it just printed. So it's like raw output from your whatever your screen did. It just
you would
mirrored
tell it
on
to print.
paper.
It was basically the first line printer type. Not very popular.
It would come out curved, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they call it a screen printer? Because it printed what was on your screen?
I believe so.
Yes. If you push a button, it would just dump the screen, and I mean, it's
still use it like a regular printer, though, couldn't you, or no?
I think you could. But I think the way it worked and why it's circular like that is because it was like a rotating thing that would spin around.
Rotating head.
Yeah, rotating head.
Yep.
An old photocopier technology.
Yeah. Had a bit of an odor to it when it was printing.
Mm-hmm.
There's so does half the panel here. So I mean,
there's a video showing it printing somewhere. So
yeah.
So here's the back of it here. This looks like a beast, huh? It's got a fuse in it.
It's big.
You know you're a serious high voltage device when you've got your own
but
fuse.
Just think it's not on the circuit board inside.
Yeah. So serial number 1772. So how many of these things did they make? 1772 at least? I don't know. So
one for each store.
That's a big honker. No, I've never seen that before. Yeah. I have never
seen that.
I'm
looking at original. It sold for $600 originally.
Wow. That's why you don't see many of them.
Yeah. That's insane.
If you did a whole bunch of screen dumps from one of the old Model 1 and 3 games there, you can make a flip-it cartoon out of it too. So.
Yeah, right? Imagine if you were playing like a text adventure, right? You're playing one of those pyramid or whatever, and just all just scrolling
to be honest,
on the page.
Back in mini days, like with PDPs
forever,
and stuff, you didn't have actual video terminals. You just had printer terminals. Some people did play adventure games that way. So
yeah,
just
true.
Reams and reams of paper going through the adventure game.
Yeah, it's a rotary. It's a rotary printer. I'm looking at the operations manual right now.
I'm sure there's plenty of universities that really did not like the students doing that.
I know ours wasn't too happy about it on the backs.
Talk about a resource. Wasting a resource, all that paper and ink for playing a game, right? So it's just like
Yeah, basically what you would do is you would put your data up on the screen and say, okay, I want to print this out, and this is what it would do.
So, and the TRS-80 screen was what, 64 columns by 16 lines? So that was basically the output of one chunk of, like one page would be like one screen's worth of text?
It was a continuous paper roll, so you would just tear off the
sheet.
You just
tear it off. It's got a little tear off. Yeah.
Little paper cutter on it. Yeah.
The paper was gray, right?
Okay.
Yeah, silver.
Yeah, it's a silver paper type. Yeah, there was a print command switch on there, so you would just press that and it would print it up.
It used like DMA or something to dump the screen memory.
All right. Well, for those of us who are on the show right now, how are we feeling about the time now? This is the third week now we've been at 8 o'clock. Does this time seem to work for a lot of us?
It's going to be a little weird when
I'm usually somewhere else, but
we're cutting into your nightlife, James. Is that the deal?
Well, like last week, about the time I get home, it's you guys are getting ready to sign off. So
is that when you're train conductor?
I gotta please everybody.
Being a man,
yeah, I gotta be one in every crowd.
Well, we just want to please Nick Marotta. As long as this time slot works for Nick Marotta, that's really who we care about. Yeah, so. Okay. This show was for you. We were thinking about you before we even knew who you were, but we just knew that someday this guy would be here and this show would be the show for him. And you are that guy. So
I feel very special. Thank you.
Just like Nick Marentes actually put a tribute to Nick Marotta on the Gunstar High Score list too. Nick M. So that's obviously Nick Marotta, not Nick.
That's right. I saw that. Yeah.
That's right.
See, now just not my mom just thinks I'm special, but Stevie Stroh thinks I'm special.
And Nick Marentes thinks you're special.
So. And you got a better score than me too, so which doesn't take much.
Yeah.
I noticed I was at the bottom.
Yesterday
of the
was
list
Neil
there,
Brookins' birthday.
Now, when you say Neil Brookins, you talking about the real Neil Brookins or Neil Blanchard?
No, we just had a real hassle with that name in the past.
Okay. All right. Well, there is a real Neil Brookins too, as it turns out. So, whoever had a birthday yesterday, I hope it was a happy one. So new Rainbow magazines in the works. That's good. Gunstar's got bad guys on the screen. That's good. Mark Bosley's got a cat with a shoestring on a stick, and that's good. Jim Byers is playing the saxophone, so we might have some. Is it Byers? Am I saying your name or Briars? Am I saying your name, Jim?
Ooh.
Okay, Jim Briars. All right, so hopefully we'll have some music from you joining us on the musical jam at CoCo Fest. Brian, the Music Man Shoebring, will be there at CoCo Fest bringing the music.
You said you play sax?
Sax and the MIDI wind controller here.
So can you play Baker Street then?
I hate playing that song.
I know. That's what everybody asks you to play, right?
I have been playing for the last 15 years, I've been in a Pink Floyd tribute band. I just kind of retired from them. I just needed a change of scenery, and so I joined up with a Rolling Stones tribute band. So I'm kind of doing a lot more saxophone now with the Pink Floyd.
Now, do you ever get requests? Do you get requests to do Kenny G?
No, not really. Not really something you hear on the local rock station.
Yeah, right. So, trying to think of who's some of the most well-known horn players. So,
Billy Joel's band had one for some songs, if I remember.
Yeah, I forgot the guy's name. He's phenomenal. Bobby Keys is the keyboard or the sax player with the Rolling Stones, or he was. He passed away. And he's a tough one to kind of mimic, He's got his own kind of style.
What register of sax is like a tenor
I've
sax?
I've got alto, C melody, and a tenor.
What's your favorite?
The Iwi. I can play anything, I can plug it into any sound module and I can play whatever sounds like that. It's a MIDI wind controller. Some people call it an Iwi.
Oh, okay. Iwi, okay.
But it's basically just a keyboard that I blow into and I play it with saxophone fingerings.
So that'd let me like a trumpet or a saxophone or a clarinet or flute.
Yeah, I've got over 10,000 different sounds, I'm sure, to pick from.
Variety.
Wow.
So is there like a synth I could do on the CoCo?
Brian?
Of course.
What would the name be?
Brian the Music Man.
I've got a couple sound modules. I've got TG300 and a TG33.
Well,
that I
can we
run
do like
off of MIDI.
Well, can we do something in the CoCo though?
I use the CoCo.
Oh, you do?
But it's a MIDI
running
controller,
MIDI through the
not an
CoCo,
instrument,
right?
Well, probably just a recorder of MIDI.
Yeah, I take MIDI files and I play them to the CoCo.
I was using it as a sequencer or controller.
Yeah, is it an actual sound module or kind of like a soft synth, I guess?
They're physical sound modules.
Oh no, I'm talking about like having like a soft synth inside the CoCo.
I go for the real thing.
Well, I do too. I'm just saying it'd be something unique to do, you know.
Well, we might be getting there with the Lyra 12,
Symphony
right?
12?
With the 12, the poly. What's that thing called? The Symphony 12. Yeah. So they're looking at reproducing a cartridge that existed back in the day called the Symphony 12. It's 12 voice synthesizer that you could plug a real keyboard into. It's a hardware based synthesizer.
It's got four of the AY 81 pens.
And it's probably the MIDI input through the joystick, I would imagine.
I'm not sure how that. I think that keyboard originally connected with some type of ribbon cable to the cartridge.
Yeah, there's two ways to play MIDI on the CoCo. There's the hardware dedicated cards, like Brian has, and some of them were just MIDI out, and then some were MIDI in, MIDI through, and MIDI out. But you can also hook up a cable through the serial port, and then stuff like Ultimuse will run through it. And you can play MIDI through the serial port as well, but that's play only. That's not recorder through. And I think it does. Brian, is that up to 16 voices in Ultimuse 3?
Yeah. 16 not voices, but 16 tracks.
That's like the general MIDI standard then, right? It's just 16
channel,
simultaneous tracks, right?
It's just surreal.
But you're talking about like a software synthesizer where the digitized sounds are coming from the CoCo itself with no extra anything?
Yeah, pretty much like, using my EWI to play the sounds.
The closest we have for that, and it's a player only, would probably be Sockmaster's Mod Player. That's not quite, MIDI or anything, but it is using digitized sound samples and pitch shifts them and adds effects and stuff, so you can play 4-voice MIDI or mod files from the Amiga, the Mac, and the PC that way.
Because I mean, if we can find something that actually plays MIDI files, then there's got to be a way to input MIDI into that live, I would imagine.
Yeah, so you need a MIDI input that you can like play your instrument on, but rather than hearing your instrument, you want to hear the CoCo play what you're playing.
I got all the top-of-the-notch sounds I need. I think it'd be cool to do like an 8-bit.
Yeah, you want to hear some lo-fi. Yeah, it sounds like something like maybe the Mega Mini MPI or the CoCo PSG. Some of these newer sound chip options that are out there, if they could be kind of combined with MIDI input. There are the new generation of sound cards for the CoCo that are being worked on right now. So
I would jam that at CoCo Fest.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
cool.
cool.
The other option right now
that
is like what Brian
cool.
has, which is basically just a MIDI hardware card or a keyboard you just plug into from the CoCo to the MIDI, and it selects the tracks and which voices are using what and plays through there.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool beans. All right, let's put a fork in this show. We're now a little over 2.5 hours, but it's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. We'll do it again next week, same time, same channel. I want to thank everybody who's been on the program with us so far. Bryce, was there anything you wanted to update us on, what you've been doing down under?
Learning how to code and stuffing around with my games archive, trying to find stuff. That's about it.
All right. Did you ever work out your keyboard issues?
Went over to my mum's place, and guess what I found floating around in all my junk there? A keyboard.
What'd you find?
And it actually works.
Ah, okay.
So I was stoked about that. I'll still get one of those PS2 ones, like the adapters for about 9, because that'll come quite in handy because of all the features that you've got on the function keys. Yeah, you don't have to actually touch the keyboard.
Absolutely.
Actual CoCo3, you just sit there and press keys, and you're doing hard reboot and everything else off it. Yeah, that's the only reason I'm looking for it. I want to get one of those because it's going to be handy.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do like a soft reset or whatever.
You can set
from
the macro keys on it to do it all. Yeah, that's why I'm going to get it
cool.
for.
Very cool.
That's about it.
And then especially if you can get like an older IBM style mechanical keyboard too, that'd be like a nice clickety clackety feel.
No, I don't think your missus will appreciate me going clickety clack with the keys while she's trying.
No click clacking in the middle of the night, huh?
So, CoCo's like keeps you up all night doing silly things with it.
Yeah, really. Nick Marotta, any parting thoughts? Words of wisdom.
I found the Hot Cocoa magazine, so my dream of playing Frogger may come true. I don't know.
Okay. Put the link. What are you posting now, Mark? And you're posting a link to something on Facebook. Should I be opening this link?
The link to Jim Brain's Symphony 12 board. The Polyphonic 12.
Ah, okay.
Since you mentioned.
Yes.
Philharmonic 12.
Okay. Philharmonic 12. Okay. L. Curtis Boyle, any parting thoughts? Words of wisdom?
I'm still planning on trying to get some work done on the EOU. I fixed up a couple of fonts. I snuck in about like an hour over this last week, so I fixed a few things there. But lots of plans. I don't know how much I'm going to get done before the festival, depending on workload.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ron Delvaux.
Nothing. I'm done.
For us? All right. Well, thank you for your segment.
We're all worked out.
C-Load M.
Maybe once a month.
Hopefully everybody's okay, and hopefully everybody's eardrums will survive that one there. Brian Weasler, thank you for showing us your dragon. Cool stuff. Keep us up to date as you get more doohickeys for it. Yeah. Mark B, everything good?
I think the cat won.
Parting thoughts? The cat won. Ah, excellent. Jim Briers like the ice cream. Thanks for joining us tonight. It was great having you on. Wow.
Hope it's not copyrighted.
Very cool.
It was less than 15 seconds. We should be good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brian Schubring, thanks for being here. Tony Pedraza just joined us, Vice President of Glenside Color Computer Club. Hey, Tony. Tony, can you hear us?
He looks frozen.
Mark D. Overholzer, thanks for being here tonight. We missed you last week. We're glad to have you back, and thanks for the update on the rainbow. Tony, do you copy?
No,
He's looking. James Differendaffer, any parting thoughts?
Oh, I'll have some news for you maybe next week.
Okay. Tony Pedraza, do you copy us?
I do now.
Tony. Hey, Tony, how are you?
I've got a low bandwidth, so this is going to be sketchy, I guess.
Yeah. You're catching us at the tail end of the show. Anything you want to let the world know about you or CoCo Fest or anything else?
Here's your 15 seconds of fame. Go for it.
And go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm down to 10. I had an inquiry from Iowa about any more. It seems that Mr. Huffman is looking at the possibility, given his finances,
of doing what?
Of attending.
Oh,
of showing up to CoCo Fest. Okay. Alan Huffman is a staple. So
yeah, he's got 2 points on that staple.
You'll fit right in.
He's a sharp one. Yes. So right above you, Tony, is Jim Briers, he's in the area. He says he's going to be attending us at CoCo Fest. Yep. He just got back into the CoCo.
I'll be there. Yeah, we've had an email or two from him, I believe.
Okay.
He's going to be in the CoCo band.
Yep. Yeah, he's a musician too, so he might join the CoCo Jam.
Absolutely.
So.
Or have I?
Very cool. Excellent. Richard Lorbieski, any parting thoughts?
I'm just here trying to set my real-time clock.
I think you gotta wind it a bit,
yes,
right?
It does.
You gotta pull that button out of the back and turn it on.
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps saying January 1st, 1970. I don't know what the deal behind that.
And Nick Marentes, the Thunder from Down Under. Any parting thoughts?
No,
from
I'm
you, sir?
thoughtless at the moment.
Obviously speechless too.
Oh, that's a meme in the making.
Yes, you're a perfect addition to the show, then, sir. So
upside down, thoughtless.
All right. Well, we're going to press the button. We're going to play the outro music. We are now concluding episode 97 of CoCoTALK. It is Saturday, February the 23rd. It's about 10:30 p.m. in Florida, and we're going to play the credits, and we'll be back in just a minute for our final thoughts. So be back after
this. Concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTalk.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTalk@CoCoTalk.live. Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click on the Patreon link on our site at CoCoTalk.live. CoCoTALK would not exist without the community and its cast and crew. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leighty, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Karen Anscombe, Simon Jonason, and many, many more. Special thanks to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and to Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, and Rob Inman for all of their bonus content and contributions, as well as Roger Taylor for getting us on the CoCo TV channel on Roku. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its contributors. The CoCo Crew podcast at CoCoCrew.org. Glenside Color Computer Club, host of CoCo Fest at GlensideCCC.com. Jim Brain and Retro Innovations at Go4Retro.com. Tandy Assembly at TandyAssembly.com. Boyson Technologies at BoysonTech.com. Get your own switcheroo and wallaby cable at cocoman.biz. Cloud9 Technologies at cloud9tech.com. CoCoTALK is hosted by Steve Strobridge. Co-hosts, technical directors, segment hosts, and producers Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Grant Leighty, Mark Overholzer, Ron Delvaux, and Jason Reichert. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore.
CoCo forever, people. And that's all she wrote. Another episode's in the bag. All right, so we're about ready to press the button. Anybody got any final thoughts to say to the folks at home?
I have an apology. It wasn't Jim that I had emails with. It's Brian Harris, who's made a couple updates on our pre-registration form that'll make it a little bit neater, I guess, to fill out. So it's up on the website, and hopefully within the week, you will be able to pre-register for the CoCo Fest directly on tandylist.com.
Cool.
Hi, gang.
Very cool. Excellent. All right, well, say goodbye, everybody at home, and say goodnight to Nick Marotta, our special guest tonight. Nick Marotta.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Night.
All right, we're going to press the button here.
Good night,
This
Gracie.
is the sound of me.
Hey, Betty Sue.
Yeah.
Got on late.
Yeah. This is the sound of me hanging up now.